How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer.
Some idea.
I am not completely like other people.
What do you mean by that?
People dislike me because I am not completely like them. I am trying to do with my life something which few people try to do, and this influences my thinking and consequently my action.
What is it you're trying to do with your life?
Play the piano for people.
I'm not clear. How is it that playing the piano for people has eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital?
That's difficult to answer.
the end? There's a noise inside my head of crying people facing death. Is this the end? Is this the end? Oh, I'm burning in the stone. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the stone. This is the final side. What have we done to the world? What have we done to the world? I'm burning in the stone. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the stone. This is the final
Carlin B. sent $100. Merry Christmas, Nick. Grateful to have connected with you and the Groypers this year.
Carlin, Merry Christmas. Hope you're having a good one. The undefeated GOAT. Literally the GOAT. Who must go? Carlin B feuding with everybody. Who must go? Morgan Ariel versus Carlin B. Carlin B by a technical knockout. So W, yes, Merry Christmas. Glad to connect with you too. You've been very loyal. What a surprise, right? I mean, politics, it's a little strange like that. You wind up in these weird friendships.
Caesar sent
unexpectedly.
$100.
Well, I'm back. I may have been a little hungover yesterday, okay? Just a little bit. It wasn't my fault I was hungover yesterday. It was the fault of my husband who bought me champagne, okay? You know, as you get older, your body withstands alcohol a little bit less effectively. And, you know, of course I'm 29. I am, as always, 29. But, man, sometimes you just need to take a day. Sometimes you just need to take a little time and take a little extra rest when you're up late at night on New Year's Eve, drinking and having fun and all that sort of stuff. And it just hit me a little harder than I thought it would. And so I'm back. But hey, happy 2025. Guess what? We're already dealing with censorship. Yeah, I may be 29, but my liver is no longer 29. I may be, in fact, perpetually 29, but that doesn't mean all my body parts are 29. Anyway, guess what? It's 2025, and we're in exactly the same place that we were in 5 years ago. Yeah, nothing has changed, I know, even though the ownership of Twitter has changed, and we really thought that Elon Musk was going to save us all from the censorious left. It turns out that Elon Musk is just as bad as the censorious left. And I have to say, the moment I started this stream, I had this chat from this person who, is he still in the chat? Yes, he's still here. Yes, he is. Now, Will, I think it's a little funny, Will, because I've never seen you in my chat before, Will. And when you chatted this in, I looked up your channel history. And isn't it so funny, Will, you've never been in my chat before. And the first thing that you choose to chat into my chat is straight up lying for views. Embarrassing. Really? 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 Let me ask my chat. Am I a person that lies for views? Am I a person that says things that I don't have the receipts to back up? One in the chat if you agree with Will here, that I'm lying for views. Two in the chat if you think I probably have the receipts to back up what I'm saying. Let's see how many people agree with our anonymous friend here who came into the chat and instantly started complaining and whining and crying. Looks like a lot of people in the chat agree with me, Will. Looks like a lot of people in the chat believe that I absolutely have the receipts to back up what I'm saying. The chat is filled with twos for people who are not watching this on YouTube right now. So, Will, perhaps, just a word of advice, Will, perhaps you should shut the fuck up and listen before you run your mouth. Otherwise, you might say something stupid. And I have a long history of backing every single thing I say with receipts. So now we know that Will is not to be taken seriously. This is not a trust me bro zone. This is not a zone where you're going to come in and be like, I've been the biggest fan. Here's what Will's going to say next, right? Here's what Will's going to say next. Let's see if Will's still in the chat as I'm berating him. Here's what Will's going to say next. He's going to say, I've been a supporter of yours for years, and I just can't believe you talked down to a member of your chat that has supported you for years. I've been following you since 2016, even though I haven't been doing this since 2016, but that's what he'll say. I've been following you since 2016, and I've always supported your work, and I just can't believe you talked down to me like this, and I am unsubscribing. We know the story, Will. We know the story. We know the story that anonymous losers on the internet like to shill when they're not getting their way. Luckily, I do have people in my chat that do pay attention. Milo says the mask is off. Elon Musk is the enemy of all Americans. Yup. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? So, just to bring people up to speed on what's happening, and if you guys missed it, I did actually post a podcast right before this show, so you may not have even had time to listen to it. I did post a new episode of the Actively Unwoke podcast. You can access the Actively Unwoke podcast by going over to my Substack, Carlin, KARLYN.substack.com. And when you get there, you can go to the podcast section right up here, or you can just click on the podcast link on the homepage. The podcast section will bring you to the back catalog of Actively Unwoke podcasts. When you click on these here links to access the podcast, it will tell you how to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. You can also, of course, subscribe through the Substack. So I did post a podcast just kind of catching people up on this earlier today. But in case you don't pay attention to every single thing I say the minute I say it, because admittedly, some people, and I just don't know why, but some people have a life outside of everything I say and do on the internet. And so you might not read and respond to every single thing I say the minute I say it. So I'll bring you up to speed here on what's been going on. So, let's start. Well, this isn't even the start of it, really. About a week ago, there was an account that got banned on Twitter called Project Groyper. We're going to be learning much more about Project Groyper today because we're going to be following the saga. Actually, maybe I'll even go over here. Following the saga of Project Groyper and the banning of the Project Groyper account, which did nothing wrong, didn't violate TOS, didn't break the law, just disagreed with Elon Musk politically. When the Project Groyper account got banned, every single affiliate with the Project Groyper account also got banned, just unilaterally. That was 15 people associated with that account that are all Groypers. They're all fans of Nick Fuentes. And you don't have to like Nick Fuentes to follow along. I'm not saying that anyone needs to like Nick or follow Nick or support Nick or any of that. You can hate him. You can hate everything he stands for. And I still hope that even if you do hate Nick Fuentes and you do hate everything he stands for, you will still stand against the issue of censorship that we're dealing with today. Because that's the ethically honest thing to do. That's the thing you do when you have intellectual integrity, which is a quality that is sorely lacking in our landscape today. So, 15 Groyper accounts got unilaterally banned when the gold check account Project Groyp got banned, and the crime that it committed was disagreeing with Elon Musk's position on H-1B visas. So this all sounds a little familiar, right? We're having mass bannings of accounts that politically disagree with us for no other reason than they're inconvenient. And so we are going to read this thread from Chief Trumpster, and we're going to be listening to a Twitter space later today, but I want to show you this first. So these are the 15 accounts that got banned, just all at the same time, unilaterally. Rottweiler, thank you for the super chat. Musk has always been the 21st century P.T. Barnum, always overpromises and underdelivers, and now shows his true colors. Feels good to be vindicated after arguing with muskrats for years. Indeed. Indeed. So after this happened, Nick Fuentes tweeted a whole bunch of stuff. But one of the things he tweeted is, Twitter censorship is back. Free speech is dead. Now, Seth Dillon, who owns the Babylon Bee, Seth Dillon doesn't like Nick Fuentes because Seth Dillon doesn't like anyone that speaks out against Israel. And so Seth Dillon, who claims to care about free speech, who claims to be anti-woke, who claims to be anti-censorship, he's really none of those things. He only cares about himself. Do you guys remember that the reason that Elon Musk bought Twitter in the first place is because the Babylon Bee got locked out of their Twitter account for tweeting something the previous owners of Twitter didn't like? Oh, how the tables have turned. Oh, how the tables have turned. Because this type of treatment used to be levied on the Babylon Bee, and they were all so upset about it when they were censored from saying what they wanted to say. But the minute that other people get censored who they disagree with, well, that's perfectly okay in the eyes of Seth Dillon and the Babylon Bee. That's a hypocrite right there. You can like the Babylon Bee all you want. You can think they're funny all you want. But Seth Dillon has just shown us his ass. Seth Dillon has shown us he doesn't care about free speech. He doesn't care about a free exchange of ideas. He only cares about himself. So Nick Fuentes tweeted, Twitter censorship is back, free speech is dead. Seth Dillon tweeted, 1.6 million views isn't censorship. Elon Musk responds to that, claiming censorship while simultaneously getting millions of views is the clearest possible evidence that Fuentes has shit for brains. Nick Fuentes responds to that, when you declared war against opponents of H-1B, did that include banning or unverifying users who disagree with you? That seems to be the perception after a wave of suspensions and de-verifications this week. Even the appearance of retaliation chills speech. And you know what's funny? Nick Fuentes ratioed Elon Musk within 20 minutes of responding to him. Elon Musk has 200 million Twitter followers. Nick Fuentes has about 500,000 Twitter followers, a little less than 500,000. Check this out. On Elon Musk's original tweet, which got 1.7 million views, he has 12,000 likes and 1,700 retweets. On Nick Fuentes' response, which has almost 900,000 views, significantly less than Elon Musk, he's got 1,000 likes and 5,000 retweets. And there I am. Hey, there I am right there. So check this out. 12,000 likes versus 41,000 likes for Nick. Elon Musk got 1,700 retweets. Nick Fuentes, 5,000. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a pretty epic fucking ratio on your own platform. But it didn't stop there, because then something really interesting happened. Last night, Elon Musk got community noted. He actually got community noted on that post. And so he got a community note placed on his post that said, Nick Fuentes is referring to multiple Groyper affiliate accounts systematically suspended over the previous week. These accounts can no longer post on X. All of their previous content has been hidden, which constitutes censorship. So Elon Musk not only got massively ratioed by Nick Fuentes, he also got community noted on his own platform. Until about 3:30 in the morning. As you guys know, I tend to stay up late. I'm a night owl. I do my best work at night. And so I was up at about 3:30 in the morning. And you know what was funny is I noticed earlier in the evening, I was like, the community note on Elon Musk's post is flickering on and off. It was the weirdest thing, because sometimes the community note would show up on the post, and sometimes the community note would just disappear. And so I asked the other Groypers, I was like, why is the community note on Elon Musk's post, why is it flickering? Why is it sometimes there and sometimes not there? And they were like, oh, it's probably just a glitch in the system. And I was like, I don't know about that. And I actually did get this on video. I got the flickering on video. Well, a couple hours after I was like, why is the community note flickering? The community note suddenly disappears entirely. Now, what the Elon Musk stands will argue, they'll say, well, Carlin, a community note can be pulled down if enough people rate it as unhelpful. Okay. So we have an instance in which Nick Fuentes has massively ratioed Elon Musk. Like several times over. Significantly more people are on Nick's side. And that's clear from the numbers. And you're telling me that all of a sudden at 3:30 in the morning, there was a mass influx of people that were supporting Elon Musk on this community note? And that Elon Musk had nothing to do with this? You're telling me Elon Musk was absolutely not seething behind the scenes and demanding that his engineers get that community note off of his tweet? You're telling me that there was a mass influx of people that, by the way, that mass influx of people, they didn't like Elon's tweet. They didn't retweet Elon's tweet because Nick is still, to this moment, massively ratioing Elon Musk. But you're telling me that enough people went and downvoted this and voted it as unhelpful that the community note got pulled down? I don't buy it for one red second. That makes no sense. It makes no sense that all of a sudden at 3:30 in the morning, when it is clear that public sentiment is on Nick's side, it does not make sense that a massive influx of people all of a sudden decided this community note wasn't helpful and voted it down. Elon Musk took down the community note. And so now we're in a situation where it's very 1984-ish, isn't it? It's very 1984-ish. Let me remind you what 1984 says. And by the way, thanks to Shaggy, Esoteric Shaggy, these are archives. So you can access the archive of the community note with of Elon Musk's tweet with the community note, and you can access the archive of the tweet without the community note. Here's a quote from 1984, and I want you to think about this. Every record had been destroyed or falsified, every book rewritten, every picture had been repainted, every statue and street building has been renamed, every date has been altered, and the process is continuing day by day and minute by minute. History has stopped. Nothing exists except the endless present in which the party is always right. And Elon Musk, in this case, is the party that we're talking about. Elon Musk is very literally rewriting history right in front of us. He's banning anyone that doesn't agree with him. He's suppressing accounts that don't agree with him. If the masses rise up and say, nah, Elon, no. And again, let's just go back. I will show you these numbers. This is live numbers right now. You can find it yourself. 12,000 likes, 1,700 retweets. We scroll down here to find Nick because we have to scroll to find Nick because Nick Fuentes is suppressed on Elon Musk's platform. Where are we even getting to Nick? Are we even there yet? Look how far we have to scroll down to find Nick. Where the fuck is he? Seriously? Look how far down we have to scroll to find Nick Fuentes' reply. We aren't even there yet. Where is he? Do I even have to just go into Nick's account and find it? I'm there. I'm there before Nick. We probably have to scroll down a ways. We're still scrolling. Nick hasn't shown up yet. Wow. I didn't expect to have to scroll this much to find him. We're still scrolling. We're still scrolling. We're still scrolling. We're still scrolling. You know what? I might even just have to go into Nick's account and find it. Oh, there it is. Found it. That's how suppressed Nick Fuentes is on Elon Musk's platform. Because on Nick's tweet, he has 41,000 likes and 5,000 retweets. And how far down did we have to scroll to find it? Don't tell me that this isn't about censorship. Don't tell me that that level of suppression is not censorship. It is. It absolutely is. And it's not just Nick that's being affected. Because not only has Elon Musk banned 15 Groyper accounts unilaterally, Elon Musk is also now removing the blue check marks of people who are saying things that he does not like. And in order to talk more about that, I want to go through this Twitter thread from Chief Trumpster. Chief Trumpster is going to take us through the banning of the Project Groyper account. He's going to tell us what the Project Groyper account got banned for, and he's going to give more information about check marks being removed from other influencers. And then Chief Trumpster is hosting a Twitter space in about half an hour, and we're going to listen in on that Twitter space, and we're going to hear more about this from him and probably other people affected as well. And that's what we're going to do today, guys. So we're going to go through the Twitter thread from Chief Trumpster. We're going to listen to his Twitter space after that. Before we get into this, just a couple quick orders of business. As always, if you want to support the work I'm doing and get access to my content where I'm analyzing, breaking down the far left, and sometimes even talking about the so-called anti-woke right, who are really just as woke as the left is, head over to my Substack. That is Carlin, KARLYN.substack.com. Not only can you find the latest episode of the podcast over on the Substack, you can also find this article. Do you guys want to know who's going to be protesting the inauguration? Oh, I'll tell you. Hang on. I'll do it. We got a whole list of groups here that are protesting the inauguration, everything from Antifa groups to progressive groups to liberal groups. There's going to be a massive amount of people protesting the inauguration, and a lot of them are going to be from the radical revolutionary far left. And if you want to learn more about those groups, head over to the Substack because I broke down all of the groups for you. I will tell you explicitly who they are. I will tell you who's a far left radical revolutionary socialist versus a progressive versus just your kind of like general maybe democratic socialist, stuff like that. But we're starting to gear up for protest season on the left. And I'll tell you what, guys, there might be a spy stream tomorrow. There might be a spy stream tomorrow where we're going inside one of these organizing calls. Jess, good to see you. I still support on local. Should I switch to supporting on Substack? My current preference is Substack, Jess, but if you want to support on locals, please feel free to do so. Whatever platform works best for you. Of course, I love my local supporters. My locals is where I started out. My current preference is absolutely supporting on the Substack if I had to choose, but if locals works best for you, then go there. Whichever is clever. And, I appreciate the support as always. Another way you can support my work, guys, is, of course, by heading over to the Unwoke Art merchandise store, where we are currently hosting our first sale of the year. We've got 25% off all of the newly launched merch for the Red Menace Collective. We've got the cool Red Menace Collective merch with the Plague Doctor, the Crow, the Penguin in honor of Trendolin, the Ram. We've also got the anti-communist merch, the McCarthy is Right merch. Some of this stuff is just like really, really cool. I'm looking forward to getting some of this merch myself. All of the designs with these, all of the merch with these designs on it, the McCarthy is Right designs, the Are You an Anti-Communist designs, the Red Menace Collective designs, they are all 25% off until Sunday. So if you have any favorite designs you're seeing, they come on t-shirts, they come on stickers, they come on hoodies. They got a whole sticker set with this McCarthy is Right thing. I also put it on shot glasses just because I thought that was kind of cool. We've got this Red Menace Collective stuff. Look at that print. Come on. That's a cool ass print. I'm going to be hanging that at some point in my house. We got all the basic Red Menace Collective stuff, which I just think looks so cool. I want this hoodie for myself. Come on. It just looks, this is cool because this is a hoodie without a front pouch. So it has the hood, but it doesn't have the front pouch, so we can make the design nice and big. Anyway, if you go in, you can see the t-shirts are available in all different colors. We got black, we've got gold, we've got red, we've got a lighter color that's kind of white, but not totally white, because sometimes I don't like totally white. So all that cool stuff is available for 25% off, and just put the merch in your cart. You don't need a discount code or anything. And of course, all purchases do help to support the work I'm doing, and I really, really do appreciate it. All right, let's dig into this this thread from Chief Trumpster so we can go through this before we listen to the space. And as always, guys, please make sure you mount the like button for me. Please make sure you are subscribed to my channel, whether you're watching on YouTube or X or Rumble, if you're not already. Let's read. Project Groyper, the timeline of abrupt Project Groyp / affiliate ban from X. There's been a lot of information regarding the banning of verified orgs on X. Whether you agree or disagree with their politics, I will show you that this banning was incorrect and should be reversed. Despite wild speculation regarding Project Groyp, and Project Groyp is a Twitter account that had a gold checkmark, despite wild speculation on X regarding Project Groyp lacking proper paperwork, receipts below show that the LLC was reviewed by X and approved. The org also made a payment for a gold checkmark on December 14th, 2024 that covered the org until January 14th, 2025. So you can see here, your verified application is under review, and so they had to provide documentation to get the Project Groyp account approved. Twitter reviewed the account. They did approve it. They manually reviewed it and gave it a gold checkmark, so you can see the receipts there. You can see the receipt for the $1,000 that they paid them on December 14th. There's another receipt there. So you can see this was all reviewed by Twitter. There was no nefarious action. Twitter knew. They had to register an LLC for this. They actually registered a separate business to be able to get the documentation to get this this account up and running, and paid Twitter $1,000. Additionally, before the ban of Project Groyp on December 27th, bro, stop spamming my chat. You've posted the same thing 3 times. We get it. Stop spamming my chat. Additionally, before the ban of Project Groyp on December 27th, there were 0 warnings, flags, or emails from X regarding the activity of the org. Emails included affiliate acceptances, X ads, 2-factor setup, new logins, so there was no indication from X that there was any problem with this account at all. You can see there, they've got all the receipts there. On December 27th in the evening, Project Groyp and all affiliates were banned from X. These accounts align with the political ideology of Nick Fuentes, but were independent. The banned accounts posted varied content such as clips, book club materials, Christian theology, etc. As you can see, there's Project Groyp banned, and there's the 15 affiliate accounts that were banned right alongside of it. Despite a lot of incorrect and speculative information regarding the reason for the ban from uninformed individuals, the reason X gave for the banning of Project Groyp was inauthentic accounts, after a human moderator reviewed the post. This is really important because a lot of people believe that Project Groyper was banned for abuse and harassment. That's not true. A lot of people believe that Project Groyper was banned for platform manipulation and spam. That's not true. The reason that X gave for the banning of this account is inauthentic accounts. So what does that mean? And you can see here is the email saying your X account has been suspended. Your account, Project Groyper, has been suspended for violating X rules after review by a human moderator. Specifically for violating our rules against inauthentic accounts. You may not use our services to engage in inauthentic activity that undermines the integrity of X. Well, what the fuck does that even mean? What does that even mean? Inauthentic accounts under XTOS means that their org would have fallen under these categories. Regarding unauthorized automation, the org has confirmed that they and affiliates have not automated or scripted or created a fake persona or impersonated anyone. Accounts on X must be authentic. Under this policy, you may not create, operate, or mass register accounts that are not legitimate, genuine, and transparent to the source of their identity and popularity. This includes unauthorized automation, automated or scripted accounts that do not comply with our developer policy. Please note that as a user, you are ultimately responsible for third-party applications you may authorize to use your account. Fake persona. You may not use manufactured identities to engage in disruptive or deceptive behavior. This may include using stock, stolen or AI-generated profile photos, copied or stolen profile bios, and or misleading profile information for the purpose of deceiving others. Impersonation. You may not impersonate other identities or individuals or groups or organizations to deceive others. Although you are not required to display your real identity on your profile, your account should not use false profile information to impersonate others. We allow parody, commentary, and fan accounts on X only if their purpose is to discuss and satirize or share information. If you believe an account is blah, 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 blah. Hey, thank you, LG. I do appreciate the super sticker. Thank you. You're still not allowed to spam my chat. But thank you for the super sticker. I do very much appreciate it. So that's why they got banned, guys. It was unauthorized organizations. Except they weren't doing any of that. Additionally, support and safety have not supplied any proof that the organization engaged in behavior that violated the terms of service. Any account claiming the org was banned for botting and hate speech are patently incorrect in this matter. The org has sent an appeal to X. The ban from the org happened at the same time as the banning of all their affiliates. A majority of the affiliates paid for premium before becoming a member of the organization. At least one of the affiliate accounts survived Twitter 1.0 just to get nuked under Elon's X. So you can see a lot of those affiliate accounts were also paying for X premium. As mentioned, the banned accounts had a variety of content on it, including clipping from Nick and other political media, Christian theology, etc. These were independent accounts making posts as they saw fit. So why were all the unique accounts with large followings penalized? And you can see here are some of the accounts that were just posting as themselves. By the way, I've actually met this person in real life. I can confirm he's a real person. He is who he says he is. He's not an inauthentic account. He is who he says he is. PineSap is an account that was literally just posting about like Catholicism and, quotes from the Bible and stuff like that. He wasn't even doing anything that was crazy. Let's see. Go through all of them. Let's see. There's another one from PineSap. Just like quoting the Bible. Classics was basically a clipper for Nick. Classics posted clips from Nick's show and stuff like that. Also someone that I met in person, by the way. All affiliates received a vague reason for abuse and harassment and no proof for the bans. PineSap, a Catholic activist, avoids profanity, inappropriate content, etc. In Elon Musk's words, feel free to say whatever you want. Unless it's illegal, it won't be taken down. Hey, Nathaniel, thank you for the super chat. I'm starting out the year horribly. I'm actually fine, but static electricity is following me around like a parasite. Anyway, a shame about Elon. It is a shame about Elon, isn't it? It is indeed. Thank you. So you can see here, Pine Sap, even though Pine Sap literally only posts like Bible-related things, Twitter told Pine Sap he was violating their rules against abuse and harassment. How? Upon review, they're not overturning the decision, so they're just getting banned entirely. These are just quotes from Elon Musk. I believe the reason for the banning of the Project Groyper account is far larger than inauthentic accounts. I believe it was one of the first attacks on the broader right-wing dissident ecosystem. Timeline-wise, this theory is far more credible than the justification from X. Yeah. First, they came from the Groypers. If they can do this to Nick Fuentes and the Groypers, guys, they can do it to you. It's really important people understand this. If they can do... You don't have to like Nick Fuentes. You don't have to like the Groypers. But if they can do this to Nick Fuentes and the Groypers, they can do it to you too. You know what? Funny story. I got banned on Blue Sky today. Now, I have a Blue Sky account mostly to follow socialist activists and stuff. I posted from it twice. I posted my knitting, and I posted an innocuous comment about finding people from my former life on Blue Sky, which is like my old friends. They're like lefties. And because all my lefty friends have gone over to Blue Sky now, and I actually found some of them, I got suspended on Blue Sky today because they said I was abusing and harassing people. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? So I lost my account, and then I emailed them, and I was like, can you provide me evidence that I've done this? Because I've literally only posted twice on their platform. And then they overturned my banning. So now I have my Blue Sky account back. Yay, I guess. They said, upon second review, you're right, you didn't do anything wrong. And I was like, I know I didn't do anything wrong. Anyway. A day before Project Groyper's ban, conservative OG lost their gold checkmark. All affiliates lost theirs with no communication from X. A post from Laura Loomer was flagged for a TOS violation. However, the org and all affiliates were hit. Conservative OG still has no gold checkmark. A day after the Project Groyper ban, a dissident user, Tom Hennessy, 69, abruptly lost his blue checkmark for ratioing Elon Musk. This is crazy. This one guy ratioed Elon Musk, and Elon Musk got so pissed off about it that he took away the guy's blue check. He insists he had paid for premium, which had covered his account through April 2025, receipt below. So you can see here, it was all paid up. Additionally, he paid for Premium Plus after his abrupt checkmark loss and got his checkmark back. It is unclear if he's still being billed twice for premium services or the reason for the checkmark loss. He hasn't received any response from X. 3 days after the Project Groyper ban, accounts such as Suleiman, who I cannot pronounce Suleiman's name, so I'm just going to Suleiman, Dr. Lupus, Jake Shields, and Real Stu Peters lost their subscribers and premium services, etc. They lost their checkmark, which helps stop impersonation from fake accounts. However, the story continues. So now you have people who, listen, I don't like Stu Peters at all. Myron Gaines is also on this list. I don't like Myron Gaines at all. Suleiman, I don't have an issue with. I think Dr. Lupus is a sweet woman. I like Jake Shields. He's a nice guy. I met him at AFPAC. So I'm not the biggest fan of everyone that this has impacted, but all of these people who are very critical of Israel, they've all now lost their blue check marks. They've all lost their blue checks, and they're not even the only ones. Official 1984 just lost his blue check today. And again, he posts, you might not like some of the things that he posts. But he had a blue check mark up until today. He broke no rules. He broke no terms of service, and now his checkmark is gone. The Fresh and Fit podcast lost their gold checkmark for no reason the same day. Sam Parker, Myron Gaines, this guy who's an idiot, but okay, and this other guy who I don't know, all of their affiliates lost their premium and blue checkmarks. These accounts are large voices within the dissident right also. So you can see here, Fresh and Fit, who again, I'm not a fan of the Fresh and Fit podcast. I don't like it at all. They lost their gold checkmark. That's not cool. Myron Gaines is an asshole. Myron Gaines is one of the lowest forms of life on the internet. He is a low IQ troglodyte who I don't want to hear from at all. But do you know what I did? I just blocked Myron Gaines. I don't think he should have had his checkmark removed. I just blocked him. That's how you handle this. Let's see, who else do we have? Sam Parker, I have no issue with him. He also had his blue checkmark removed. These people are all critical of Israel. Their actions against the dissident ecosystem appear to be a higher priority than removing posts from Nick Fuentes' docs. As a reminder, posts with his address had over 16 million views and remained up for weeks without removal. While X is not the government, the social media site is marketed as a free speech platform. The lack of transparency from X on the checkmark removals, as well as a chilling effect blanket bans has on users, is a legitimate concern. We all want X to grow. Chief is so diplomatic. And we're going to be listening to a Twitter space that's going to be starting in about 9 minutes, where he's going to go more in depth into that. So that's what we're doing today, guys. And listen, again, it's like, can we just have a break? Can we just have a fucking break? Please, can we just for once in our lives have a break from the bullshit so we can focus on something that matters? Brittany, don't spam my chat. You're talking about something that is unrelated to what we're talking about. Please do not spam my chat. Just focus. Focus. Put down the fucking ADD and focus. It's amazing to me the amount of integrity you have, Carlin. You even defend people who you dislike as a true free speech absolutist. It's refreshing to see. Listen, man. I remember when I got permanently banned for sharing a public email address. No, do not leave Twitter. You do not do, guys, this is what conservatives always fucking do. You guys pussyfoot out of things. Do not leave Twitter. Twitter is the battleground. If you leave Twitter, you let them win. Do not take your fucking toys and go home. You stay on the battleground and you fight on the fucking battleground. I want to go back to this. I wish more people had integrity on this issue. But I mean, thankfully, actually, people who don't like Nick Fuentes have been speaking up. You have Ashley St. Clair who's spoken up. I think Mike Cernovich has spoken up. Jack Posobiec is kind of speaking up against this. Like, the public sentiment is overwhelmingly on the side of Nick Fuentes. But it is also frustrating because it's like, we all agreed on this 4 years ago, 5 years ago. We all agreed that in order to defend free speech, you have to defend the right of people to say things that you don't like. And now all of a sudden, because they feel like they've got Elon Musk in their corner and their ideas are being promoted, a lot of people on the right, especially the Zionists, believe that it's perfectly fine to censor anyone they disagree with. It's perfectly fine to censor anyone who's not a Zionist. It's perfectly fine to censor anyone who disagrees with Israel. That's bullshit. I'm sorry. That's bullshit. Free speech for me means free speech for you. Free speech for Nick Fuentes and the Groypers means free speech for everyone. And I don't know why this is so difficult for people to understand. I don't get it. I don't get it. So pay attention, guys. Pay attention to who is speaking up and who's not speaking up, because that will give you a lot of information. Yeah, I saw that. Even Bernie Sanders came out against the H-1B visas. I saw that. And I want to be clear about this too. I personally don't give a flying fuck if you support Israel. I personally don't give a flying fuck if you are Jewish. I really don't care. It makes no difference to me at all. Not in any way. But if you're not going to stand up when people are being censored and the slippery slope is starting again after a year of a break where people can more or less say what they wanted, you might not like the Groypers, and you might not like Nick Fuentes, and you might find them annoying, and you might find them irritating, and you might be annoyed when they post things on Twitter that you don't like. But if you're going to go so far as to say that they should be banned for disagreeing with Elon Musk, they should be banned when they're not breaking any terms of service, then you are part of the problem, and you are no different from the left, and you are no different from the previous owners of Twitter. And if people can't see what's going on, I just don't know what to tell you. Elon Musk has gotten too big for his fucking... Did you guys know, by the way, side note, did you guys know that Elon Musk is living at Mar-a-Lago? Did you guys know that Elon Musk is living there? Apparently Elon Musk has a cottage at Mar-a-Lago where he is living right next to Donald Trump. Don't tell me this is unimportant. I really do believe that one of the most important things we can all do is defend the rights of dissident voices to say whatever the fuck they want. And if you personally don't like it, then just mute them or block them and don't listen to them. Again, I don't like Myron Gaines. I don't like Stu Peters. I want nothing to do with these people. I think they're both horribly toxic. I think they're shitty human beings. I don't want to interact with them at all. I don't want to hear what they have to say. I don't care. I think that people who fundamentally interact with them are setting themselves up for trouble. But do you know what I did? I just blocked them. The solution was really simple. I blocked Myron Gaines. I blocked Stu Peters. I don't think about them. I don't interact with them. Even if they're complaining about me, as Myron Gaines is prone to do every once in a while, I just ignore them because it's not worth it. But I've never advocated for Myron Gaines or Stu Peters to be censored. I've never advocated for them to be banned. I've never advocated for them to lose their blue check mark. I certainly wouldn't celebrate if it happens. I wouldn't like go on a fucking crusade about it or anything. But even if they did, even if they got banned, I'd be like, yeah, that's pretty shitty. They shouldn't be doing that. That's what it means to have intellectual integrity, guys. You have to stand up for principles regardless of whether or not you agree with someone, regardless of whether or not you like someone, regardless of whether or not you're best friends with someone. And right now, one of the problems that we deal with in the so-called anti-woke movement, which I'm going to argue is a dead movement, is that people make their decisions entirely based on who their friends are, on who they like, on who they don't like. That is like a middle school decision-making process. That's like saying, you can't sit with us. Nick Fuentes, you can't sit with us. Groypers, you can't sit with us. Is that how you want people making decisions about what goes on in the world? I don't know. I think that sounds like a really bad idea. Anyway, we're just waiting for Chief to get started with his space. Let me see. Maybe he'll start a couple minutes early. Maybe. Oh, he is. He has started. Okay, let's tune in. Hopefully this works. Why the fuck is Elon living with Trump? However, he and his family are now in danger from radical... No, they are not in danger. They're not in danger. Come on. They're not in danger. I do appreciate the money, though. I disagree with you that they're in danger, though. Oh, come on. Oh, I'm listening to this on my alt account, so I'm also going to get it up on my phone account. Oh, he's got Elon Musk account as the, he's not saying anything yet, so. let's see. I'm also gonna have it up on my phone. Because I want to try and speak in the space. And if I speak in the space, I want to speak on it in my phone and not on the browser, because the browser is buggy. Even with those amazing Indian engineers that they have, the browser is buggy AF. You see, I'll make this a little bit smaller. Hopefully we can see more people in it. Oh, look, there are 2 me's. There we go. Oh, no, come on. Oh, man. Yo, Nathaniel! I know you said others are holding the line with integrity and speaking in spaces, but I'm giving you this anyway as a thank you. Selling out is usually more profitable, and that's what I wish to rectify. Yo, you're right about that, Nathaniel. I could make so much more money if I just sold out. I really do appreciate you, bro. Thank you for the very generous super chat. Thank you for being such a great supporter. You've been around for a long time, and I really, really, really appreciate it. Okay.
All right. Hey, guys. How's it going? Hope you guys are doing pretty good.
There we
Make sure
go.
the audio here is working for the show here. A reminder for the audience, if you guys are listening here on X, we'll be streaming this, of course, to Rumble, to Cozy, and I believe a broadcast on X in case you want to look back at this at any point. Tonight we're talking about a very big topic that's been the talk of Twitter, or talk of X, I guess, the past few days. The banning of Project Groyper and the timeline for it. And there's lots of misinformation about this, disinformation, and lies about the reason for it and all of that. This ban, of course, comes a day after.
How's the sound, guys? Is that okay?
Affiliation got completely hit, and their gold checkmark was taken away abruptly, as well as about 50 affiliates who did nothing wrong. After the Project Groyper ban, we saw another user, Tom Hennessy, lose his checkmark after showing Elon Musk on X. Additionally speaking, after that, we had Fresh and Fit lose their gold check mark, as well as several creators who were separate from any sort of organization, such as Suleiman, Stu Peters, Dr. Lupus, and Jake Shields. So we'll cover all of this. We've got a bit of a timeline in order for all of you guys, and more formal setting. We may have some individuals who have been banned from X for unclear reasons hop up here and explain their perspective about this. And I think the outcome we all want is a freer platform, a freer X, a free speech platform that doesn't ban people.
Is it still quiet though?
Doesn't have these very vague I guess explanations for what happened. So I put up the top of the receipt for the thread that I posted earlier this afternoon or morning that kind of explains the entire thing pretty well. And a lot of people on X have been saying that Project Groyper got banned for hate speech and for violence and for botting and botnets. Those people are
okay. The volume is as loud as I can make it.
Most of them are lying about this 100%. The reason, if you look through the thread, explains that Project Groyper got banned, and the reason why they claim is because of inauthentic accounts.
Gotta turn your own volume up.
Part over in the Jumbotron.
I'll turn my mic down. We can turn the volume up.
Very bizarre type of reason for the, I guess it's a really bizarre reason for banning people. It has 3, I guess, underlying type of possibilities of why it could be that way for. One would be the unauthorized automation. The second would be fake personas. Third would be impersonation. The unauthorized automation refers to scripted or automated accounts that do not comply with developer policy. That does not apply or anything like that to Project Groyper. Fake personas and impersonation do not apply to any of the accounts, as they're not impersonating anybody. They are who they are. They're not really pretending to be like Donald Trump or some other big celebrity. They're not parody accounts. They're real people with real opinions. Of the other points that I've heard online, a couple points, right? So let's go through the actual thread. We'll go through the whole thing point by point. So I started the whole entire thread off by saying this: Project Groyper, the timeline of the abrupt Project Groyper affiliate ban from X. There's been lots of misinformation regarding the recent banning of the org on X. Whether you agree or disagree with their politics, I will show that this banning was incorrect and should be reversed. Now, there's been claims about paperwork not being there and that the org was completely fictitious, and that there is no LLC and, whatever. The organization submitted all of the LLC information, receipts, and all of that to X on the 14th, right? And there's email receipt here that says they sent it through. X support commented saying your verified organization application is under review and needs additional evidence for the review to continue. Reply with the addressed record of incorporation for an organization that matches the account display name, and of course I confirm the penalty of perjury that the information in submissions are true and accurate. Then they submitted information on the 15th of December via email saying that the application to X verified organizations for Project Groyp had been approved. Your organization is now verified and you can begin to add affiliates. Additionally, the receipt paid shows $1,000 on December 14th that goes on to January 14th, 2025. So they theoretically should have had a gold check mark for a couple, like week or two more before they got, have to repay that pretty much. So looking at this, right, they paid $1,000, the receipt's there, the email is there, they paid the money. Paperwork's completely filed, 100%, no problems there. Okay, so it wasn't a wrong paperwork or whatever. Second point, the emails from their inbox show there were no warnings from X, nothing like that, no requirements of their post be taken down or violating any problems or TOS, nothing. The emails show that affiliates were accepted, that there was X ads credits added to their account, that there were, I believe, two-factor authentication set up, a new login to different devices, and of course, the application that sent through got approved from the email address. So nothing in there was talking about TOS violations or hate speech or whatever. That's not true. So no, they weren't banned for hate speech. The organization did not do any of that type of stuff or break any TOS. I don't think they actually even cursed or anything like that. They posted content that was covering, Nick Fuentes and his perspective and his show properly. I actually think they actually were covering Trump appointees at some point as well. So it wasn't even entirely about Nick, but just about dissident politics. Now, on December 27th in the evening, Project Groyp and all affiliates were banned from X. This is a very important point. The accounts aligned with the political ideology of Nick, but were independent. Again, these accounts were independent of Nick and whatever. It was an independent project set up by several accounts that just wanted to talk about Nick opinions and be dissident organization. They were, again, agreeing with Nick politically. They were not in any way organizing with Nick or whatever. That point is very critical for you guys to understand. The banned accounts posted varied content such as clips, book club material, Christian theology, etc. Display a live incorrect speculation or misinformation regarding the reason for the ban from uninformed individuals. The reason X gave for the banning of Project Groyp was for inauthentic accounts after a human moderator reviewed the posts. Right? So after the review, they found inauthentic accounts, which doesn't make any sense. As I said before, inauthentic accounts means an unauthorized automation, fake personas, or impersonation. Those are three possibilities of what a inauthentic account would be, which is wrong. Additionally, support and safety had not supplied any proof that the organization violated any TOS or engaged in behavior that violated TOS. Any account claiming the org was banned for botting or a botnet or hate speech are patently incorrect in this manner. The org has filed an appeal and sent it over to X. The ban from the org happened at the same time as the banning of all their affiliates. The majority, if not all of them, from people I talked to, I saw they had blue check marks before they were onboarded into the premium organization or the organization, Project Groyp. They had premium already. They got billed twice for that, if anything, whether it be them paying it and then also the org paying for them. Right? So let's continue here. This ban from the org happened at the same time as the banning of all their affiliates. A majority of these affiliates paid for premium before becoming a member of the organization. At least one of the affiliate accounts survived Twitter 1.0 just to get nuked under Elon's X, with the receipt showing one of many receipts that prove they had Premium or Premium Plus throughout the year and would have had a check mark up until now before it renewed. As mentioned, the banned accounts had a variety of content on it, including clipping from Nick, other political media, Christian theology, etc. These were independent accounts making posts as they saw fit. So why were all these unique accounts with large followings penalized? All affiliates received a vague, different reason than authentic accounts as to why they were banned for, like abuse and harassment. Pine Staff, a Catholic activist, avoids profanity, inappropriate content, etc., and of course wouldn't make any sense. His appeal that was sent through was denied, actually, for no justification, no reason, or anything like that. Looking a bit further, in Elon's words, feel free to say whatever you want. Once it's illegal, it won't be taken down. But that standard, we would ask that anything that doesn't break the rules or law should be left up. If you are going to make a comment saying you're a free speech platform and whatever, then we expect you to uphold and stand by that statement. It's a very big claim to make. Rumble has made that claim, and they've proven it time and time again. Unfortunately, in this matter, we have many examples of how X has failed on that front completely. I believe the reason for the banning, this is my perspective here, as to why I believe it actually happened for. I believe the reason for the banning of Project Groyper is far larger than any of the claims from X regarding authentic accounts. I believe this was one of the first attacks on the broader right-wing dissident ecosystem. You guys all know who got banned. You're following them. You're mutuals with them. We all know these people. They're the same circles that we're all in. These people are dissident right to a larger degree. People like, whether it be myself or people like Myron, people like Solomon, and people like Dr. Lupus and Sam Parker. We all know these people pretty clearly. These people are inner circles. They're dissidents by heart. They may not agree with us on every single political issue, but they fit in somewhere in this dissident ecosystem. So, timing-wise, this theory checks out a lot more than the reason from X. A day before the Project Great ban, conservative OG lost their org and their gold checkmark. All affiliates lost their checkmark with no communication, including myself. A post on Bloomberg was flagged for a 2S violation. However, the org and all affiliates were hit. Conservative OG still has no gold checkmark. Not to mention, for myself, I had to go and wait for days before I got my checkmark back. I had to be nice and emails to them and messages, whatever, no response. And then if I litigious letter to them, and then I got my account back, my checkmark back at least. So continuing on this conversation here, a day after the Project Great ban, a dissident user, Tom Hennessy, abruptly lost the blue check mark, his blue check mark at the ratio of Elon Musk. He insists that the paid premium, which covered the account through April of 2025, receipt below. He did not change the profile picture too. And also, by the way, in terms of the Project Great banning, I think less than 12 or so, or 24 hours or so after, or sorry, before the banning happened, one of the affiliates, Dalton Clodfelder, went on a space with Adrian Dittman that I hosted. And in that space, he essentially called a group of people a very mean thing, which, of course, is protected speech. No slurs were said. But as that happened, the org, what I believe, was just under a very narrow lens, even more so than previously before, I guess, or whatever. So that's point as well, by the way. Now, also with Tom Hennessy, he paid for Premium Plus. I guess, yeah, he paid for Premium Plus after the abrupt checkmark loss and got his checkmark back. So he may be being billed twice for Premium and Premium Plus for his checkmark. So we don't know what's going on with that. We have no clue if it's being double billing or not and whatever. He did not get any emails or anything from X explaining why he lost the checkmark for. Nothing at all. Just like me. Nothing at all. Just like with, Conservative OG and with Project Groyper, nothing like that. 3 days after the Project Groyper ban, accounts like Solomon, Dr. Lupus, Jake Shields, and Stu Peters lost their subscribers, premium services, etc. They lost their checkmark, which helped stop impersonation from fake accounts. However, the story continues. The Brush to Fit podcast lost their gold checkmark for no clear reason the same day. Sam Parker, Myron, Fresh, CEO Network, and the Brett Osika, and all their affiliates lost their premium and blue check marks. Those accounts are also large voices within the dissident movement on the right side of politics. All these actions against a dissident ecosystem appeared to be a high priority. They're removing posts with Nick's docs. As a reminder, posts with his address had over 16 million views and remained up for weeks without removal. You can read more here. Well, X is not a government. The social media site is marketed as a free speech platform. The lack of transparency from X on the checkmark removals, as well as the chilling effect blanket bans have on users, is a legitimate concern. We all want X to improve and grow. And of course, I'm calling on Musk to reinstate Project Groyper affiliates and a more responsiveness and transparency regarding account status. Protected speech, even if offensive, remains protected on X. So that's the whole thread in a nutshell. Explain my perspective and my point of view about this. I'd like to go and invite, of course, some of the speakers up here if they want to speak regarding this, wrong ban that I believe happened here. And I think the important part is here to establish a timeline for what happened and why it's unjust. It's pretty clear that you may not like Project Groyp or Nick or whatever, but we all know what happens when you have bans and problems like that. It always starts with one person, Alex Jones. Alex Jones in 2014 or that's the whole time period on X or Twitter, he got banned or I guess suppressed in some capacity, and nobody batted an eye. They thought Alex Jones, he's a crazy person, whatever, blah blah. But the bans expanded and it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And soon Twitter 1.0 was completely just enveloped with a big banning problem. Now, right now, over 100 accounts have been impacted by the recent ban wave and censorship campaign and account status removal or checkmark removal, for that matter. Over 100. 50 or so from Conservative OG, several dozen
Over
or so,
100
over a dozen
accounts.
or so from
Seriously?
Project Groyp. A couple other individuals as well were hit by this, and myself included in that manner. But it's pretty much close to 100 people at this point, and it's only like a couple of days that this happened or this has been going on for, right? So, at some point, it's gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger. It's less than 100 right now, but I guarantee there will be more targets. And just I believe today, 1984 lost his check mark, right? So who knows? Keith, but he might be next. Keith Woods might be next. GNM might be next. Lots of people are in the crosshairs here, and I do fear that this is going to get a lot worse very quickly. It's not going to stop. It's not going to stop at just us. It never does. It never ever does. It always gets to other people and their problems and all of that. First, it goes to Nick and the Groypers and me and then Conservative OG and all of that. And then what happens? It goes to a normie who stepped too far to the right on one issue, and then pretty soon, like we're all kind of in the crosshairs, and then we're all surprised like we're all being targeted or something like that. So, it's just ridiculous stuff. It's just nonsense, and I feel that in this manner, we should unite in our push to, I guess, have free speech, to have a platform that we can use without worry of being banned or whatever. It's critical that we don't have to deal with problems like being banned all the time and whatever. Rumble, by the way, Rumble is a great platform. They have done fantastic in terms of protecting free speech, in terms of stopping any sort of banning campaigns and all of that. They've been canceled so many times, and they have stood by us all the time. So Rumble is one platform that has been fantastic for free speech. BitChute also is great for free speech. We have lots of other alt platforms like that, and they have took lots of heat and negative comments and all that for allowing speech to happen. Elon, he has claimed many times over this will be a free speech platform, free speech for all, and whatever. Unfortunately, this is not the case for at least what appears to be the case right now. When you're banning accounts, when you're banning people left and right for no reason, you're only feeding into the fear that X becomes Twitter 1.0 all over again. It's a new boss, the same cage. New boss, same rules. New boss, same bans. New boss, same censorship. So it's not getting better; it's getting worse in my eyes. And again, I really do hope that X changes and X, really gets their act together. And I saw a post actually. I'll go and let's see here. Let's see. Let me see here. Trying to get people up here, right people. Let's see. What's the? Let's do that. Let me do this here. I don't know if you're requested or not yet because people got banned, unfortunately. So we'll go and talk about that actually too. So I saw a comment from Fresh. I'll put it up here as well to kind of show you guys the comments. So Fresh made a comment saying, I don't understand if you all hate Elon this much, why are you still on this platform? You're coming into a man's house and telling him how to run things. And there's a question about, well, is it his platform? He has a right to run the platform, how he wants to run the platform, and whatever. The problem is that he marketed this whole entire thing as free speech. He said free speech forever. He said screw you to the advertisers, and he made all these claims saying that he would protect our rights.
Fresh is such a pussy.
And it's not about
such a pussy.
Hating on someone and hating on
you got to turn up your own audio. I can't make it go up anymore.
Securing
Sorry.
Securing the ability for all of us, whether on right or left, to say things online without being banned or worried about being banned, without being demonetized or fearing that as well. So it's a problem all around. Let's go bring some people up here slowly but surely. We'll have a larger panel as the day goes on. Let's see this. So I believe that Iron might be one. So I think is Iron. I believe. Are you one of the
What's up?
affiliates?
I am one of the banned people.
Banned people.
And I have to use a friend's Twitter account to speak in the public square, which is ridiculous on the free speech app.
Mm-hmm. And Dalton just got banned again.
Yeah, that's Dalton just got banned again. Ray, Classics, Pine Sab, all banned again today.
No, Dalton got banned again.
Again, yeah. Twice in the same day.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, for Iron Groyper, I guess what are your thoughts about this whole entire, banning process that happened to the affiliates of Project Groyper? Your, I guess, commentary, take on the matter, and why you think these types of bans are unjust and wrong, and why they should be revoked for?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's clearly targeted. Like, that is the main thing that I think people need to focus on here. And I'm sure that there's going to be some people who are listening right now who will not like what I'm about to say. But this isn't just a X issue. This is a MAGA issue. Elon Musk is at Mar-a-Lago right now. He is living at Mar-a-Lago, okay? Everybody who's around him right now, it's all MAGA people. These tech bros have successfully infiltrated the MAGA movement. They have changed it for the worse. And now they are just purging anybody who's actually a nationalist. On my account, I'm Tyler Russell for anybody who, I'm sure that people know that, but I'm Tyler Russell. On my account, I would talk about politics. I always refrain from using overly racist terminology, vulgar terminology, even though I don't have an issue with it. I believe in total free speech, but I refrain from doing that. I'd give my political takes, which are all nationalist, America first. And I was swept up in this ban because I was a affiliate of Project
I would
Groyper.
argue the evidence that we've always been over says otherwise.
Clippers.
So that's blatantly
who just
false.
Talked about Catholicism.
Blatantly false.
Club guy.
And
There's
Cheap
a few other
Trumpster has provided the
nationalists
evidence
there were,
against that.
Comedians in it. It was kind of like this ragtag group of Groypers who just wanted to, promote our content and do something cool for our community. And like you covered, Chief, everything was done correctly. It's not like, something was skipped. It's not like we broke the TOS. Unless the TOS has suddenly changed and it's just being a right-wing nationalist is now a bannable offense. Nothing was said that was really that crazy. It was all pretty tame, actually, from anybody who was a part of Project Groyper. And I think that it needs to be very clear that this is targeted. And there's a reason why people like Elon Musk and the tech bros want to create a chilling effect around Nick Fuentes and his followers. Nick is the only person who has been talking about the tech bro takeover and Peter Thiel and Elon Musk and David Sachs for probably over a year, but really kind of nailing it down close to a year at this point. He was the one who was going against MAGA during the campaigning. and they did not like that one bit. And by Elon going in and specifically targeting people who are close with Nick, who are his friends, who are big accounts that clip him, it's supposed to send a message of, hey, you guys got to fuck off now. We are running everything. We are running this shit. I am at Mar-a-Lago. I'm Trump's best friend, and you guys got to be quiet. And that's exactly what it's meant to be. You know, it's so ridiculous how people can actually sit here and defend Elon Musk when he's sitting at Mar-a-Lago seething about us, about like Iron Groyper and like Pine Sap the Catholic. Like, it is so insane. This is supposed to be the richest, most influential man in the world, and he's getting triggered like a little bitch snowflake about Groyper's telling him that, hey, we don't want a bajillion Indians in America. That's like a mainstream MAGA take. That is not a crazy take to have. I would wager that over 80% at minimum of the MAGA base are against H-1B visas. They don't want Mexicans. They don't want Indians. They want Americans here. So it's just the entire thing is absolutely ridiculous. And for other people in this space who think like, oh, well, like I'm like a good boy and I play by the rules, it doesn't matter, okay? If they want you gone, they will take you out. And it's just the Groypers that go first because we're the most vocal.
You know, so a couple of things, right? So did you pay for premium like throughout the year or for the month or so? Were you covered by premium, you know, and just got that whole thing taken away from you also?
Yeah. So I was paying for it before, and then when I was a affiliate, that covered it.
Right, right. And you know, in terms of what you said, I mean, what was I looked at the whole Project Grape timeline and all of that, and even all the most, if not all, the affiliates too. Like their speech was completely protected under the TOS. It wasn't anything crazy. Especially for me, I didn't see any like curses or anything, you know, slurs or whatever from you or whatever. You know, and I believe that in terms of what's gone with the whole like Elon Musk
Bro,
specifically, like
the
he's
evidence is
crashing
on
out
Chief
over H1B.
Trumpster's
He's crashing out,
timeline.
and
They
he's at
did
Mar-a-Lago
not
paying
get
$2,000 for
banned
like
for.
a night or
Hang on,
something,
hang
or a
on,
cottage
hang on,
there,
hang
or
on,
something
hang
crazy
on,
like that. And
hang on. I can actually I can still hear it. Never mind.
seething about
The
this
evidence is
and
on his
whining, and
timeline.
then he
They
made
did
it.
not
He
get
made a
banned
comment
for
saying
that. They got banned for an
he
inauthentic
posted a lot for
personality or
views.
something, which
That
isn't
must mean there's
true.
no censorship or anything like that
So
on the
go
platform.
look
I
at
mean,
the
isn't that crazy to
evidence. I don't know
hear
what
from
else to
him
tell
about
you.
that when
You
we're
need to
talking
go
about
look at the
Project Grape
evidence
losing
because
their
you're
account
speaking out
completely?
your ass
And then
right now.
today,
You
he
obviously
complains
haven't
that
looked at the
YouTube prevents
evidence. Go
comment
to
on his
Chief
video
Trumpster's
bits.
timeline.
At least they have a video up, you can view or whatever. You can't talk if you're on Project Grape or anything like that. So I just find the whole thing, you know, crazy. We have yeah, go ahead, Aaron Groyper. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the whole verification argument where it's like, oh, well, you guys can still have free speech, but you just can't be monetized and you can't have the blue check mark. The blue check mark, like Premium Plus on this application, it boosts you so much. Like when I first became a affiliate, my engagement grew like 10x. It's insane the amount of reach. And it's like, okay, so are we just all shadow banned before and then the Premium Plus kind of negates that? Or is it just like some kind of boost? I don't know exactly how it works, but you are still stifling speech by not allowing people to purchase Premium Plus. Because like if Nick Fuentes could buy Premium Plus for his own account, his reach would be insane. I mean, he ratioed Elon yesterday with like what, over 30K likes. He would be getting like 40 to 50K likes, millions of more views, and it totally is stifling speech by not allowing people to be verified. And you know, I completely disagree with the whole monetization argument as well. But it would even be a different story if, like, oh, you know, these like racist far right people or whatever they want to call us, they can't be monetized because of ads. But we can like verify their account to make sure that people know that it's actually his account. Because again, like Nick Fuentes, there's all these impersonators on Twitter. One impersonator was actually linked in the community notes on that Elon Musk tweet. So it's like, okay, can you just like give the guy a check mark so we can at least know that this is the real account? So like the whole thing is just such a ridiculous argument. Um, because it stifles free speech, and that was not Elon's claim when he bought Twitter. He said it was going to be free speech for all, and it was going to be a public square, and if somebody had a bad idea, then they were to get beat down by the community notes. That's not what's happening now. Now he's manually going in and sicking Twitter employees on us to ban us, and he's not giving out verifications, and he's taking away people's blue checks. All of this stifles speech, and it is a chilling effect.
Yeah, and by the way, in terms of monetization, let's just say that you have somebody that believes that, the H-1B visa problem is a big issue. We shouldn't have H-1Bs or whatever. They get demonetized. Do you think that people are going to want to talk and say what they want to say about H-1B visas if that's the case? They're probably not going to want to.
Exactly.
They'll be quiet. They're not going to say anything because they want their problems or monetization threatened. And to be clear, people would say, some people would say things no matter what, regardless of monetization or not, because they have integrity or because they will say what they want to say about caring or whatever. But a lot of people in this industry, especially in the content group or whatever, a lot of people would not say things if it impacts their money, their livelihood, or their income. That's a very big point with the whole monetization argument too. It's like if you see people are getting banned and suppressed and censored or demonetized for saying X is true or X is happening or whatever, are you going to say that on your post, on your feed, or are you going to try going along and just being quiet and not saying anything at all to avoid being targeted next? Yeah, I know we have Soldier, we have Brittany also have their hands up. Either one of you can chime in too. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, so like Dalton, yeah, because he just got banned again. And like I get what Tyler's saying, what he was saying earlier in the space when he was doing this, that we were never really promised to like profit off of this platform. We were never promised to like get like all these little bells and whistles that he's added, but we were promised to at least be able to speak. And the fact that like we're not even allowed to do that, that when we used to get banned before, like you could respawn, you could do that. There's no doing that now. He's like perfected the algorithm or something where he's making, I think this is Dalton, he's making it so that you so he's making it so you can't even do that. Like, and it's like impossible to be on here. We have like our group chat is all we have. We're having to be on lockdown since election day. Like you can't do anything. It's fucked. It sucks. Like we're in hiding, and now everybody else.
This is what I wanted to speak on. Really, Tyler hit the nail on the head. He has really just made it harder than Jack Dorsey had it for you to come back afterward. The new laws that he's just putting in place, the new rules, where if the big follower accounts, which he's the biggest, which carries the most weight, if they block you, then your reach is hit. If you don't get a blue check mark, then your reach is hit. And it's really insidious how he connected that to the pay to now say, well, you have free speech, but I don't have to pay you for it. There's no option to just have a blue check mark and all the reach benefits without the monetization. So it's all just connected. There's a sleight of hand where everybody's reach gets hit there. And it's all based on what? It's arbitrarily based on what Elon likes. It's like a modern day feudal lord creating his new fiefdom, where the people like Ian Miles Chong and the rest, they have a direct monetary incentive to do whatever is in line with Elon's views, to post it, to say that, and they will. They'll just lie, they'll flop back and forth, because of the incentive and because of the carrot and the stick. You don't want not to. You don't want.
Bro, you are slowly fucking failing the IQ test. Spamming and platform manipulation is a completely different fucking category. So no, it doesn't say bots. It doesn't say that at all. Are you smart enough to be here? We have a minimum 100 level IQ to be here. Are you smart enough to be here? Because literally you were given evidence that they were banned for a completely different thing than what you are saying, because what you are asserting is a different terms of service violation. So are you smart enough to be here, yes or no? Because I'm about to permanently ban you in my chat, because I simply cannot have stupid and intellectually dishonest people here.
If you have some liberal, some woke leftist that has lots of...
Oh, here it is. Here it is. Keep slandering Elon. Yeah, you're too stupid to be here, bro. You just got banned. Goodbye.
How many people are blocked by this random person
Every
you've never
fucking
heard
time.
before.
Every
It's
time.
because you're on
Every time
blacklist
with
or
these
something like
people.
that was
Every
around
fucking
way
time.
before Elon took over. So your reach has been canceled or I guess halted in that manner. And the whole
And
point,
how did those not count as like a targeted blocking campaign to totally
yeah,
damage the reach of whole lists of people? How does that? So it's arbitrary how it'll be enforced as well. And yeah, once again, like you're not to interrupt you, your social credit score is what it's based on now. It's not like shadow banning or deboosting. I'm sure that happens selectively, but like that's not for the most part what's going on now. You just have a social credit score and it's up or down, and so you have to establish a good rapport, a big following with more and more, not just blue check but high social credit score accounts in order to have any reach at all whatsoever. And that's what's made it programmatically, it's like a Black Mirror hell where you cannot come back.
yeah. And also, by the way, so I want to also go to Dalton, I guess, on his new, I guess, third alt account for today or something like that. How many alts you on? Are you on like is this your third?
It's
Third or-
DC. It's old DC.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Well, no. So my other account was banned, and so here's the interesting thing about that. I don't think I was banned. So I've had that account before I had my first account. So I don't even know if that was ban evasion. But whatever. Like I'm not even here to like talk about that or like be pissy about that. That's like par for the course, I guess. But yeah, the Project Groyper stuff is weird. It's something that we all knew was coming in some capacity, where we know that our time is limited on these platforms, where that we got brought back here, right? And under this promise, under this guise of free speech, and so long, right? So long as it's legal, it's protected, or even I don't know. I got banned, and I don't know if what I did had anything to do with it. I think that there was, maybe it put us under a microscope or something, as you said earlier in the space, Chief. But anyone that was listening to that, whether or not you think you may be rude or being mean, I don't think that what I
Yeah,
said
for real,
was
Rottweiler. Thank you for the
bannable
super
in
chat.
any way,
Appreciate it.
shape, or form. And it goes to show you too with what our bans were for, right? I mean, you got sent the emails, you saw them. I got sent emails, I've appealed, and I got sent an email back, which I'll touch on here in a second. But the initial ban, as you said, was for inauthentic accounts, which you've already, explained how that's total BS, a fake thing that they just threw out there. Every single, I believe, I don't know this for sure, but I'm pretty positive from what I've seen from all the other affiliates and other Groypers that were connected in some way, we were banned for abuse and harassment. I I beg of you, and I have archived my post from my original account. I beg of you to find where we broke that rule in the TOS. I beg of you to find where Project Groyper as a whole violated that, because it doesn't exist. No one broke that rule. Abuse and harassment. I don't even know where they came up with that or how. And then, so long story short, when I appealed, I was given a blank statement back at me. So they said, well, maybe it wasn't abuse and harassment, I guess. They just didn't give me a violation. They left it blank. I still don't know what tweet they thought was abuse of harassment, or if it was the space. Maybe because this was all being done manually,
Yeah.
they could have.
So
at least
now
said,
they
hey,
can't
you
even
were
give Dalton a
rude
reason they
to
banned him.
Adrian Dittman or something, right? And they could have said, this or that. You said this or that. Nothing. So Elon has not only lied about this is a free speech platform, he has lied about the permanent suspensions, which he used to say, oh, we're not going to be permanently suspended anymore. He was doing away with that. He also lied about being fair and transparent to people that are suspended. As far as I can tell, giving me no violation, still banning me, and then failing to elaborate is the exact opposite of transparency and honesty on the platform. So that's just what things are from my perspective. I don't really give, for lack of a better term, Chief two shits about my account really anymore. I'm sort of beyond that. I really feel bad for these Clippers where there are tons of archived Nick clips that are just completely wiped off this platform. I feel bad for Pine Sap, who is a Catholic apologist, uh, being banned, who has done nothing wrong on this platform whatsoever and has avoided, any type of conflict. And I feel bad for some of the more political accounts that post serious content on a daily basis. People that know me know I'm a comedian in some capacity. I say whatever, and you know what too, for the past 2 months I've been essentially apolitical in a way, on Twitter. I've been posting like music that I like. I've been, just messing around on Twitter Spaces. But as Tyler said, this is how it's going to go down. And, we just have to continue to hold these people's feet to the fire, specifically Elon, but also Nick yesterday named plenty of people that we should be going after and tagging. I would love to see it on an almost daily basis.
Yeah, and in terms of the reason why you got blank comment for your ban, that's why, at least for me, like when I heard that space and all of that, and Adrian mentioning Project Groyper and all of that, and then less than 24 hours later, the whole war gets hit. Like, to me, I really feel like this whole entire thing was because of a space where you basically made comments that are protecting free speech and all of that, and all of a sudden the whole org gets canceled. The whole org and Pine Sap and book club and the whole crew are canceled or whatever. It makes no sense to me at all. And again, this whole entire accounts thing that's the reason why they gave for Project Roy. That makes zero sense at all. It's not applicable in this matter at all. And in terms of, again, like hate speech, whatever, nope, there's no receipt for that as well. So it's, to me, it just, again, lots of reaching, not exactly forthcoming from X or anything like that. And it's a problem with free speech and how it's going to be on this platform. At first, it'll be you and me and a couple of people here. Then it'll be the rest of X at some point, the rest of the right wing in some capacity who speak up against H1B or any other issue like that. I saw that we had, I believe, Tyler with his hand up first. Go ahead, Tyler. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's just one thing that I wanted to touch on that Dalton said. He referenced the space with Adrian Dittman, where he said like stinky Indians or something like that. Hopefully we all don't get nuked because I said stinky, smelly Indians in this Twitter space, by the way.
I'm getting banned now. So
that is like so incredibly tame. Like hey, I'm for all speech. I am totally for all speech. In no way am I trying to like, bitch and complain about what I'm about to say. But there are like literal like 1488 like Hitler saluting like accounts on this app that just talk about white power all day, and they talk about bikes with a K,
Very
and
true.
about certain
Very true.
gases and stuff like that. Like, it's crazy. Okay. So, and again, hey, I'm for all free speech, so I don't really care. You know what I do? I just don't follow those accounts because I don't want it shitting up my timeline. But if like we're drawing the line at stinky, smelly Indians, like what the fuck can you say? Like anything remotely descriptive about a person? Like, can you just not say that? I'm like
About
calling somebody fucking four eyes, like somebody with glasses, four eyes. Somebody with red hair like I have, can you call him a ginger? Is that fucking offensive now? Like, it's total bullshit. It is 110% targeted, because if it was about abuse and harassment, all of these Nazi accounts would be nuked way before the stinky, smelly Indians comment. And again, that's not even an attack on them. I don't give a fuck, like, at all about them doing that. I think that they should be able to do that in a free speech town square. It's about like, where is the line? What are the rules? What can we say? What can't we say? Because right now it's not defined, and it seems like, oh, you can say anything, but you have to like wash Elon's balls every day, and you have to glaze them every single day. And if you disagree with Elon on something, you better not make it known, or he's going to personally ban you. He's going to go on to his, I don't know how X bans people, but he's going to go into his account and he's going to search up your @ And if you ratio him like that one guy did, if you talk shit about H1Bs and Indians, he's just nuking your ass.
Yeah, there's no
So
consistency.
it's like, where is
Well,
the line?
and
What
that
is happening?
what Tyler
hold
said,
on.
that just go ahead, Chief.
Yeah, I'll say this. So, in terms of like you brought a good point up in terms of where the line is, and that's how this whole bandwave starts, right? You always had like one person like Alex Jones in like Twitter 1.0 days, where you had him get censored and banned at some point, and then people moved on. Then the ban hammer went to other people and other people and other people. Then pretty soon, years later, you get banned for no reason, right? So like the line always, the goalpost always shifts. It's never one thing or one thing or one comment, whatever. It will eventually at some point get to you. If you're a person on the right wing, if you're a dissident, especially, you will be targeted in some capacity by Elon if this keeps going on. That's a problem. The line, as you said, it always moves. He makes a comment on a space about a group of people, and that makes the entire organization and 1,400 people lose their check marks for something that's protecting free speech. Again, to me, like I've seen comments on here about abortion, about anti-white stuff, about anti-Christianity type of stuff like that, and whatever. That's okay in the platform, and nothing gets happened to them. They don't lose check marks, they don't get banned or censored. Yet for the dissident right, they get banned and censored and all this for comments that, again, may be offensive to some people, but it's protected free speech on this platform. And if Elon says, or I guess if he said this on X, where he believes protected speech and legal speech are okay, then he has to leave it on the platform. Period. End of story. I know we had, I believe, Dalton or I guess or Mia wanting to hop in. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, mine's gonna be super quick this time.
Yeah.
So another key component here, in my opinion, is the taking away of check marks. I understand that it sucks. I'm totally against that, and I think in a perfect platform, none of this would have happened to begin with. But if Elon were to come out, and maybe I shouldn't even give him this, but if he were to come out, like let's say reinstate these accounts, and reinstate Project Groyper, but I couldn't get monetized, but I couldn't have a check mark, I would still be like, okay, well, the promise was free speech on the platform. The promise was I get to say my opinion, and you're not going to take that away from me. I don't expect to make money on the platform. My payment processing has been gone for years now. I'm not worried. I couldn't get it anyway. It was already denied from as soon as my account was created. So I'm not totally upset about getting my check mark or my monetization taken away. I understand why people are, and I understand the frustration. But for me, I was operating on this website as it was a free speech platform, as everyone else has been, and as many people, even today, are continuing to do. So, but that's clearly not going to hold up. And, I guess I don't know where we go from here. I don't know. I think I was just, okay. All right. My account was just locked. I can't mute, so just hang on a second. Go ahead.
And there's no
Dalton just got banned again.
Don't ban me.
Elon is listening right now as we speak.
Literally just got banned mid space.
Mute. Someone mute me. Someone just mute me.
Do a mute all really quick.
Well, then you can't unmute yourself.
Yeah, but you can't unmute.
Yeah, that's true.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Dalton, we're not giving you up. I want to hear your beautiful voice.
Did we lose one? Well, it's okay. You can I want to mute you. If you mute, you're not gonna ever get back on here.
Put a pillow over your phone.
Yeah, or something like that.
No, just hang on. Just hang on. I'll be okay.
This sounds like we're losing someone here. It's like the band hammer on a space again.
I'm watching my friend die in my arms. It's just like Saving Private Ryan. He's Mama. No. You just have to keep trucking on.
I know. It's like one of those big battle movies. And you have this one soldier is like falling behind. Got wounded by shrapnel.
Okay, we're unlocked.
We're unlocked.
Anyway, what I was trying to say was, basically, I think fundamentally is we were all lied to, and I'm not expecting more than what I believe was offered at the beginning. I mean, I bought premium. I've been paying for it for months, okay, because that was cool. And quite honestly, when all of this first happened, I think like many of you guys, I was excited, right? When Elon purchased Twitter, I was extremely excited about this, and I was in full support. And in particular, when he brought back Nick Fuentes, I I was like, okay, this is great. This is going to be awesome. But clearly, the usefulness of the free speech narrative that he was offering everyone has out, it's outdone. It's not useful anymore, right? So, excuse me, screw this
Well,
guy.
yeah, I think that's like part of the issue here is we're forced to look at this. People who supported Elon, I supported Elon, I followed Elon's stuff for years now. And so this isn't coming from a place, for people who don't know me, not coming from a place of being against him. Like this is a sad thing happening. People are becoming disillusioned with him. I'm forced to look at his motives. Like, was he just courting the MAGA base during the election cycle? And now that that's over, he says we need to be cut out root and stem. He's going
Exactly what he
back
was
on his
doing.
promises
Yes.
to us. He's calling us racists over not wanting immigrants here, essentially. Wasn't that the whole problem in the first place? Trump said build the wall. Trump said they're from shithole countries. We're Trump supporters. We were called racists for saying we don't want immigrants from Mexico here. And now we're being called racist for saying we don't want immigrants from India here. And we're being banned off the platform. And that's not what we were promised by Elon. And him saying, you go fuck yourself in the face, I'm willing to go to war over this issue. You have to look at his monetary incentives. He directly stands to benefit a lot of money from H-1B visas, just for the record. And not just in terms of jobs, but like what he wants to do and build, his motives, his incentives. And then there's also his personal story. Everybody talks, I said this the other day, everybody talks about identity politics. They don't want you to have identity politics. They really just don't want you to believe their identity is their politics. Because when it comes down to it, he and Vivek will both say, well, I'm an immigrant. How could you possibly expect me to be against this? And well, there it is then. So Ann Coulter was right when she said, I wouldn't vote for you because you're an Indian. Because when it comes down to it, you're going to be on their side instead of ours. It's not Americans aren't your people, Indians are your people. For Elon, immigrants are your people. You want to build a global meritocracy? When the MAGA base heard meritocracy, we thought that meant we're done with affirmative action. We're done with DEI. We're done with us being held back because we're white, because we're men or whatever. But now, I guess to you, it means meritocracy from anyone, from anywhere at all. And they can all just come here and we have to compete with the whole world as American citizens now. And they can be citizens too. And the world outnumbers us. So we're a democracy. So you're just going to have our country taken over demographically. They'll all vote their laws in. And well, fuck me, I guess, right? As a white American, fuck me in the face, apparently. That's your answer to a white
Well,
man.
Yo, okay. Sorry to jump in here, but I see this tweet here. Um, Let me link it. Give me one sec.
Yeah.
But it's proof that Adrian Dittman has admin privileges on X. Did we know that before?
Well,
What?
well, hold on. I saw this. I saw the screenshot of it. It was from like 4chan or something. It may
Yeah.
not be real. So that's why
Okay.
that's why I didn't like mention it or anything. Like that. So I don't know if it's true or not. I would say though, in terms of the timeline and all of that, he's definitely communicating with X in
Well,
some capacity.
I mean, yeah, okay. Like fundamentally, and I don't want to beat this horse to death because I've said it a million times, but there's a lot of people here, so I get like this is just good for people to hear. Hopefully, if someone new's listening, it doesn't matter if you think Adrian Dittman is Elon, or if he's an admin, or if he's an ex-employee, or if he works for SpaceX. I know there's a lot of theories out there. I don't care. At the end of the day,
Turn up your own volume. It's as loud as it can go.
he knows people. And last time I was on a space or was listening to his space, he was talking with Laura Loomer with other ex-employees on the space with him. So this guy is essentially on the same level in terms of like he could probably get accounts banned. And another interesting thing aside that happened on that space when I was talking to him was when he pointed at the badge and said, "Oh, so you're a professional anti-Semite, right?" And he looked at our page. So it's all very weird. they are. This is all just crazy, man, and it doesn't really matter who Adrian Dittman is. He's just connected. It's that simple, and he has some type of control. He has some type of influence, whether it's friendly or another thing.
Well, and by the way, in terms of that comment, like it doesn't really matter what in terms of speculation about Adrian and all that. I've heard from like every place possible way it could be and all of that. I think, as you said before, like this space, it should be about the facts, about the receipts, and kind of showing that this entire ban was unjust. That like the whole in terms of
If you
what
keep
we have
making me
here, we've
repeat
got
this, I'm
after
going to get really
my fellow
pissed
people
off.
lost their check marks and
The
all that.
space
We saw
volume
Patrick Groyper lost
is
the
as
entire account of the
high
organization
as
and
I
everything
can
like
make
that,
the
and
space
no
volume.
transparency, no explanation. It's just
What
very,
you need to
very vague.
do
I'd ask
is
either,
turn
in
up the
terms of,
volume on
Tyler
your
or Dalton,
computer.
because
I
there
have
are lots of things
already
off this
boosted the
and
space
misinformation,
volume
misinformation, and all that. This organization
600%.
was completely
You can
independent
also
from Nick. It was just a
go
completely,
onto Twitter
organic
and
project
listen to the
from
space
people who just want to make
directly.
an
I don't
organization
know why the
that just put
volume
out,
is low.
this is the
I can't
messaging
control
and
it.
Nick content and clips and just talk about politics in general, correct?
Yeah, so Nick found out. I mean, Nick knew about the account, obviously, right? Whenever it was public and it was being, reposted and stuff. So, and, it's obviously part of like, we're all like politically aligned. So, but no, Nick was not like officially tied to it. And
Right.
we made that very clear on the account itself. If you had gone to like the website that was listed there, it said this is not like officially tied to America First or Nick or anything like that. This was an independent project done by some just very motivated guys. Like, I mean, that's really what it was. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and the whole point also, but from like a bunch of people have tons of incorrect information about this entire matter. Did and also did you guys ever get a warning from X or anything in like the past, I guess, like week or so before the ban? Like were ever like told to take down like a post or TOS violation or anything like that? It's just no.
Never.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
Yeah, never. I was only I was community noted one time, and I had to post visibility limited once. And the entire time my account existed, which I mean, everyone gets community noted. You're gonna get visibility limited, at some point. Like these things, I was given no warnings, nothing. I mean,
Yeah.
this was just an outright ban, and I imagine it was the same for everyone else.
Right, and also so you also paid for premium, throughout the year or the month or so, right? Like you recovered for premium for a period of time as well, before this month ended or the last month
Yeah,
ended, right?
listen. I still I haven't gotten around even fucking canceling it. They just told me that they're gonna keep billing me. I gotta still cancel.
Yeah,
this.
they will keep billing
So-
you if you don't cancel it.
Yeah. So like yes, I've totally paid up or whatever on that end.
Right, and in terms of progress and all that, and I saw the post. Like I asked, either Dawn or Tyler this. The posts were nothing really, cursing or whatever. It was literally just Nick clips and all of that. It was commentary about Trump appointees. Wasn't anything out there, and there was no warnings or anything from that organization too, right? There was nothing out of the ordinary. That it was just literally Nick clips and an independent project, right?
Yeah, so when it comes to like the actual content, like yeah, it was nothing overly vulgar or anything. I mean, like a couple days before, and this is kind of crazy too, but a couple days before, or it might have been the day before we all got banned, actually, I did tweet out, fuck Elon Musk. I said, fuck Elon Musk, he's a traitor to America. And it got like over 10K likes, like it blew up. And it got like over 1 million views. And then the next day we got banned.
So it was your fault.
But I mean, like, what, we can't say that on the free speech app? It goes back to the whole like, okay, we just triggered Elon and he spurged out and then banned us all. So
Yeah, and
like there's going to be tweets where it's like, oh yeah, like fuck this person, F that. Sorry, I keep swearing, but F this person, F that person. but like it's nothing overly racial. It's nothing like, that off-putting. It's general commentary on like how you feel about these political figures.
Well,
That's
and I
free
think
speech.
that's
You're allowed to say F people.
yeah. Well,
Can I
that's the
also
key point. Is Elon is mad. I don't think that can be argued at this point. When he said "fuck yourself" in the face, scroll back in the election when he said the liberals won with a picture of himself and Trump and RFK. The liberals won. He says true, actually, and now he's calling people racists for not wanting immigrants here. You're seeing the wrath of a billionaire who owns this platform. He's sitting there mad. He's replying all day. He's talking about all this. Nick Fuentes has shit for brains, and yeah, he's seething. He's spending all day doing this. He said, "I'm willing." I don't know. We can't forget this statement. Nobody can ever forget when this guy says, "I'm willing to go to war on this issue, the likes of which you cannot possibly imagine." And now we want to pretend that it's coincidences that all the people who he is mad about specifically just randomly got banned. And you've got Alex Jones saying, well, yeah, it was bot accounts. It was just they were artificially boosted or something. Nick Fuentes is not artificially boosted. His support, I don't think it can be argued that if you look at any streamer, any live streamer, anything, content creator that tries to bring people in real life, they can't draw nearly the crowd he can. He can go from platform to platform and bring thousands of people with him, real people. They call in when he tells them to other people. They're real. And of course, and this is the whole, I don't understand. The whole point of MAGA is it's like the majority of the country, the silent majority of the people waking up that are real, that all the liberals called bot accounts and Russian troll accounts and all of that. And now Elon's doing the exact same thing, acting as a liberal. Call it, we need to be cut out root and stem. What the hell does that mean? And what's again, he's saying he's willing to go to war over this. You think that means, but I would fight to the death for their right to say it. Yeah, I don't think so. So we can't pretend this is a coincidence.
The thing too about the post on the page, like you could even say, okay, we were like obviously on a personal account, you're going to be like posting differently. The page itself was used to, essentially just disseminate information. Like that's what it comes down to. It wasn't anything. I mean, yeah, there was like opinion in there, but like that's like everything else. But the whole idea was to educate people and to and utilize right the platform that we believed we were able to use in a free speech way. So it's the account itself certainly didn't violate any rules, and by proxy, I don't believe none of the affiliates violated any rules. And I would beg for anyone to provide the evidence of that. I was hoping that I would get that in my appeal, but I obviously was not.
I'll say this in terms of transparency, because that's also a big point in this matter too. Like, there has been zero communication, correspondence, receipts for violating TOS, nothing like that at all. And you expect a platform that that has millions, I'm sure millions and millions of premium users and all that, to be a bit more receptive, a bit more transparent with the process, and try their very best to not have issues like this flare up. It's like you had previously the conservative group lost their check marks by speaking 50 people at once, not one email or anything like that. With all of you guys, very vague, no real reason as to why, nothing like that at all. No warnings before this at all. No communication, no sort of like email saying, "Hey, you're doing this or this, please stop it" or whatever. Nothing like that. It's crazy.
It is kind of interesting that because me and Mia, we like went down on election day, and I know a lot of others did as well. And it's not connected to what happened here, but there were a lot of bans that did happen on election day while people are going out to vote, while people are like still casting their votes for whatever, and they are doing weird shit when like these groups were kind of going against Trump, or these groups are going against the H-1B that like Elon's so hyped up over. Like he's clearly got some fucking agenda that is
And that's why
screwing us all.
you have to look at what Elon wants, because he's created with this chilling effect when nobody knows what whole organizations, what giant accounts that are heavily invested in the platform are getting taken down, demonetized, but check marked for all of that, deboosted, is Everybody's going to do a little bit more, just generally what Elon wants. And then the question is, what does Elon want? And it turns out that's actually not good for anybody in the MAGA base. That's the opposite of what we want. So now we're caught asking ourselves, like, what do we do now? Because what Elon wants is to bring in 1 billion Indians, and he's willing to go to war on it, the likes of which we cannot imagine. He said, fuck yourself in the face. He said the liberals won. He said we need to be cut out root and stem, that we're racists. This is a billionaire who just bought his way into MAGA in the 11th hour right after Trump got shot, when he's at his lowest, when he's about to go to prison and everything, bailed Trump out, and now he's the fucking king of the country.
This is a really important point.
And he brought up a couple points with Elon, and again, I think that in terms of Elon Musk and X and whatnot, people have brought up claims saying, how can you be critical of Elon when you were happy with him having X and buying the Oregon and whatever. Like, I think with Elon, he specifically, this is more speculative or whatever, but he clearly has, in my eyes, a problem with anyone talking about H-1Bs, and we're seeing just this like really targeted attack on the entire dissident right ecosystem. People like Solomon were demonetized and China removal and all of that. Like, I think broadly speaking, like in terms of what I'm seeing from X and all of this, this is appearing to be like a large, like the first of many larger attacks on the broader dissident right ecosystem. I just don't see this, stopping anytime soon. Why stop now? Why stop with just us? Why not go on and continue and ban Keith Woods next or something, or remove him from verification or check mark or whatever. Like the problem I think with X in this whole conversation is like people are saying, oh well, it's his platform, whatever. This is to get a lot worse, and pretty soon it's to impact every single person on the space in some capacity, whether it be now or in a week or in a month. And Elon, I think, has a large responsibility in what's going on here. I think that he's angry, of course, and he's trying his very best to strike back against people like Project Groyper and people who got banned wrongly for no reason at all. In terms of Pine Sap, like that's one of the affiliates that were banned along with Project Groyper. He's a Catholic activist. He talks about theology. He talks about things that are pretty family friendly. No curses like myself. He's someone who doesn't break any TOS, had an account for a very long time, and yet he got the axe for no legitimate reason. And his appeal that was filed was denied. I mean, what does that say about X and about like this whole targeting that they're going after Pine Sap now? I mean, I'm not sure if Tyler or Dalton have spoken to Pine Sap about this whole entire matter and the recent ban or whatever.
The sound is as loud
what do you
as
think
it can
about
get.
the fact that he's going after just
I
people
can't
like the
do
book
anything
club
else.
and
Turn up your own volume
as well. Like, what are your thoughts about that whole entire matter?
Well, to me, it just looks very obviously like it's everyone peripheral to Nick Fuentes, no matter what they're doing. You could be just out there defending Catholicism. You could be out there just posting early founding fathers texts. You could be out there doing anything, really. You could just be posting about politics. You could be saying anything. But if you're peripheral, and this is what's scary, it looks like his support is being knocked out preemptively to knock him out, because he's talking about things that are really scary. He's talking about how Elon's tried to make this the global space. He's very interested in the politics of South America. He's kind of like trying to decide elections in other countries personally, based on what?
I mean, maybe.
So
El's not really critical of Israel, but
so
maybe. Thanks, Naruto.
Countries. And now he's right next to the people who are deciding which wars we're in. And he's right there with all of these other tech people. We've never seen coinciding like this of the systems of power. If the oil and gas industry, they had power over politicians through buying them out, the corporations or whatever, the military industrial complex, what have you. But this tech industry, none of those industries had access to all of your data in everyone's phones. Every message you've ever sent, your device ID, everything of everyone with an iPhone, everyone who's on social media at all. They can track your patterns. They can track your heartbeat through your phone, when you go to the bathroom, what when you're most likely to do certain things. They can predict in the future. That's why data is like gold now. And now these are the people who are not just, they don't just have the information on everybody in the White House. They are the people in the White House. They are the people in the White House now. They're the people hanging out at Mar-a-Lago, and they're deciding the politics of many different countries. To what end? Even this, it all feels small to compared to what's coming. And that's what I think is the real point here, is what this is leading to that's coming next. Where everybody that thinks this is just, 15 accounts got banned and people are complaining about it and life marches on like normal. This is the beginning, like Nick said before the election, the beginning of something which in coming months will be a whole lot worse.
Yeah, and in turn, I guess the question for Dalton and Tyler, I mean, in terms of the future prospects.
Hey,
of,
I think this is a little
of X,
aggressive.
how fast?
Like, I think it's a fair question. Elon probably does spend a lot in salaries.
Another ban wave of accounts and another whole wave of censorship and checkmark losses and all of that. Like, how fast do you see this platform going from this, like, fake perception of free speech to just complete blanket censorship and reduction of any sort of conversation about H1B or anything like that? Like, how fast do you see this whole thing falling downhill?
I'll go really quick and then I'm going to let Tyler talk.
Yeah.
But I think that the answer is simple. I think it's already here. That's the sad truth. And I imagine, I don't know this, but I would be willing to bet that there are tons of smaller accounts that we aren't even thinking about that have been banned in the past 2 weeks. And the sad thing about that is, right, like, you don't really hear about it. Like, I remember, being having a smaller account and you get banned and like nobody would know. So this is how it happens. He took out some medium to large sized accounts. I mean, I had like 20,000. I know that some people involved were, sitting around like 70,000, of that got banned. So those are huge. And we need to utilize this time to call it out while like big accounts are still present. And that's why I've been like so grateful for you. And I've said thank you so many times, in Myron and, all these other guys that have been like standing by and like promoting what's been going on and talking about it. But yeah, I mean, like, ultimately it's probably already happening and there's a lot of bans that I'm sure we're not even aware of.
Yeah, hopefully Myron doesn't.
Yeah, so I don't know if going forward it's going to be a lot of bannings necessarily. I think that you'll get like the odd Groyper ban. I think that you'll see a clampdown on probably a few other big Groyper accounts, which is very unfortunate. But I think that you're going to see Elon going forward, especially after inauguration. I think that you're going to see Elon boost instead of deplatform. He has already taken away the verified check marks for like anybody adjacent to America First. He's taken the check marks from all of the quote anti-Semites. He has deboosted the like radical right wing, if you want to call it that. Now, I think phase 2 is he's going to boost his network. And you're going to see people like Ian Miles Chong, people like Adrian Dittman, all of these MAGA, Con Inc., Rhino ball washers. You're going to see them get boosted like crazy, even more so than what he's doing now. And I think that they'll change the algorithm. I think that they'll go in and they'll change Ian Miles Chong's tweets so it shows on everybody's For You page. Maybe that's a bit extreme, but like to that, I think that you could see stuff like, Ian Miles Chong getting more views. I think that they're going to fuck with it in that way because he's already made a lot of noise with these like recent deplatformings. Like Nick ratioed him. A lot of the right wing has kind of woken up to the fact that Elon, okay, he's going back on his free speech thing. Now it's this like conversation about like getting paid for being racist or whatever. So they've kind of muddied the waters. But regardless, a lot of people have, put eyes onto it. I think that he understands if he keeps pushing in that direction, keeps pushing in the deplatforming direction, it opens up the doors for the MAGA base to turn on him more than they already have. He can boost his guys without getting any backlash whatsoever. So I think that that's going to be the play going forward. And quite frankly, I don't really think that the MAGA base is going to push back if he decides to go down that route. If he's just like boosting Ian Miles Chong, if he's boosting like Gunther fucking Eagleman or whatever, I think that these MAGA people are just going to fall for it. And they're going to see it in their timeline, and they're going to see Gunther Eagleman talking about how there's only two genders up until the age of 18 or whatever. And they're just going to go along with it. They're going to go back to shilling Elon. They're going to forget about him deplatforming.
Yeah,
And
Tyler is right
it's
on the
going to be
money
a
here.
footnote.
I have a question.
100%.
And we have to make sure that we are just like harping on this shit constantly.
What?
And it's totally going to get worse after Inauguration Day. It's going to get worse by summer, when summer comes and like the first admin is like already going and they're ramping up war with Iran. Dude, they are going to go so hard in trying to suppress the people who are against the war in Iran, and boosting the people who are saying, go get them, boys, rah, rah, rah. Like, this pattern is going to be seen in every other political development, whether it's war, whether it's free speech, whatever it is. We are going to see the same pattern repeat itself under this new MAGA administration.
I have a question because, like, I'm kind of like in these little circles and stuff, so I haven't been paying attention with the mainstream. But what is like the MAGA position on this H-1B? Like all these Indians coming in, are they like supporting it or are they against it?
Well,
there definitely is more talk and more debate about the issue. You're seeing a lot of these like older boomer accounts that are like going along with it because they're the types that are like, oh, we weren't racist in the first place, we just wanted to get the illegals out, like that kind of thing. So you're definitely seeing more debates. I think that a lot of the boomers are still siding with Trump and MAGA.
I'm Jack.
because
Are
they're
you
so
sure?
tapped out. And
Are you sure that's
Donald
why you were
Trump and Elon
suspended?
Musk can
Please
do
don't
no
lie.
wrong. But I think that you're seeing a lot of the younger people, the people who are more politically active and more in tune with like what's going on online. Not even just the Groypers. Like I'm talking about like frat bros. I'm talking about like some of these like adjacent CR groups and stuff. I think that you're seeing them kind of wake up to it. So it kind of depends on the generation. I think that you're going to see a lot of the boomers and older people just go along with the propaganda and keep supporting Trump. But I think that you're going to see the younger generation who's capable of figuring out what's going out or going on online. I think that you're going to see them start to speak out a bit more and kind of show that they're concerned.
So well, hold on, sorry, real quick. So I saw Candace Owens. So she quote tweeted the thread I wrote regarding Project Groyper, and she wrote, more information on multiple counts are banned on X, plus the reasons that were given by X via email. She tagged Seth Dillon saying, do you believe this constitutes censorship? So she has responded to this thread, and I have replied, inviting her to space, of course. So if you guys want to, feel free to go and chime in and let her know about the space going on right now. I would say for this argument, though, in terms of the H-1B problem you mentioned, like the problem, I guess, is you have a schism on the right where you have one side which is saying the H-1Bs are okay, best and brightest, and believe the big lie. And the other side is saying, well, it's not true. It's not best and brightest coming here. It's just, unfettered immigration as cheap labor that is basically, changing how the country is going to be, and you have no idea where they're coming from or whatever. And, it's a fair process. It's not really clear and transparent. There's no limits to all these things like OPT. And we have conversation about all of this with like US tech workers and all that. So there's two sides of this. But for this, again, I want to make sure I keep this space on topic about the Project Groyper. I want to make sure that it's not really anything else. I want to keep it on, this matter and all of that. I would say in terms of, accounts that are on Project Groyper, like I don't believe that, Pine Sap or even the book club, to my knowledge, were posting a lot about H-1B, yet, they're penalized for that. Like we're all the, like we're I guess we're accounts on Project Groyper, were they posting a lot of H-1B, or I guess were some of them not posting a lot about it? Like what was the breakdown between all the affiliates?
I mean, like there were definitely
okay, but that's not the same as being suspended.
Like some political accounts that were talking.
I don't get
about
it.
If you want to like specifically mention Pine Sap or like the Book Cat account, I don't think that they were really touching on it. I didn't see anything about H1Bs from either of those accounts.
That wouldn't even
There-
matter too. Like, 'cause they even said, I guess, like when this was all happening, they saw in the the fine print that like any account affiliated, they can decide that they're just going to ban them all. So obviously, it doesn't really even matter if
For
they were
sure.
or they weren't, because they were going to ban them regardless.
Right. But I was gonna say, Tyler, you know, when you're not acting retarded, you really are not retarded. You surprise me, man. Those are two like key insights right there.
What do you mean? Wait, what? What is what?
I'm so used to like I don't know. I don't tune into Tyler that often, but when I used to, he's always drinking and getting into something goofy with Dalton. They're like having a good time or whatever, and he's like, you know, I listen to a lot of people, and I'm just like, okay, I've heard this before. I've heard.
That's
Okay.
like okay, that's like I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, 'cause
That's
this is
crazy.
when
Okay.
you're not like just doing silly antics, you're really like making good points, and it's
What have I done silly antics in the past like 3 years?
I don't know. I haven't really. I guess I haven't spoken to you in the last 3 years. But you know, it's good for people to know. Hey, Tyler is like he's serious and smart now, and that's cool. No, W for real, because those are two key
Thank
insights.
you. I appreciate
Hold on,
that.
your mic's kind of like for Tyler. Your mic's kind of a bit glitchy right now, or static.
It was
It's
It-
like in and out of roboting.
Before it was. Hold
Oh.
on. So I believe that if I'm correct, that Sammy, who's up here, wrote an article about the recent bannings as well. I'm not sure if they want to chime in and give their perspective or thoughts about you know, what's going on with the whole bannings and whatnot, and their article, if they want to mute and talk about that a little bit more.
Oh, hey, thanks for having me on, Chief. Yeah, Hoplite told me to come on up here and talk about that. Shout out Hoplite. Hoplite actually got me pretty involved with the America First movement, and I've met a lot of you guys through him. So, but yeah, I mean, just a little bit about me. I mean, I'm not a Groyper. I'm not really even someone. I mean, you could consider me right wing, but you know, I'm kind of just someone who's most of my political career has been on the dissident left side of things, not really the dissident right. I used to be in Jackson Hinkle's American Communist Party or whatever, but
Right.
I had to leave because I wanted to support dissident right movements as well, like the America First movement. I truly believe that, you know, the America First movement is the, you know, the heir to the MAGA movement that came out of 2016. So yeah, I wrote an article. I used to write more articles like last year and towards the beginning of this year for DD Geopolitics. For those of you who know Sarah, I think some of you like her, some of you have some beef with her, but she's been loyal to me. I've been loyal to her, and she let me. I said, hey, do you mind if I post post this article I'm working on censorship of the America First movement, and also just some dirt on Elon's history and some of his shadier ties that he's had throughout his career, as well as, you know, Vivek and just the whole H1B debacle in general. So yeah, I wrote a little bit about all of that, and I think that it was, you know, it's just there's not the way to be operating a platform. It's total censorship of the dissident right wing, and but it is interesting to see how vindicated, you know, Nick was on this issue. He was saying that earlier in October, I believe he was saying that censorship under the incoming Trump administration is going to be worse than you know, what we had under Biden. Say what you will about Biden, but we did have a lot more free speech under him, I think, than we've had in a long time. So you know, it's good to see. Well, I think a lot of people on the right, in general, are going to be owing Nick some apologies. But you know, yeah.
Well, you know, I'd say in terms of the I guess argument Nick was making, you know, about H1B, he's been correct about that one for a very long time, and he's been outspoken about legal immigration restrictions since 2019, even before then too. You know, so he's been on this since like pretty much like day one or whatever. And in terms of free speech, like you brought up a point about, you know, Biden and it had a whole pack, you know, America PAC that did a lot of big work in Pennsylvania and whatnot. And this group is, you know, X is run by a guy that likes Trump, and we're having some problems with free speech under a guy like Trump and donating lots of money to Trump. So like that's a problem. It's not like you expect some like left wing Dorsey woke person and like ban us or whatever. Like it's Elon Musk and his entire like organization that's doing it. So that's a good point you brought about that. In terms of what you saw with the bannings and all that and this targeting, I asked the question before too, like how far do you think this type of banning will go? Is it going to even apply to the dissident left, perhaps? Like I guess who I guess will you target next? Do you think, and how far will this type of I guess censorship, checkmark removal, bannings, whatever you want to call it, shadow bans, like will impact this and the right a bit more, or will even go to this and left? Like, how far is this whole thing going to go? I guess.
Yeah. So, I mean, in terms of any restrictions on speech for left wing or what you would call far or dissident left wing, I mean, we haven't seen any of that yet so far. I think a lot of that just has to do with the fact that Elon Musk is a liberal. He's admitted it. I touch on this a little in the article. I put it in the purple pill, but in 2000, he posted like memes and shit about how he was basically, and he still is, just a 2008 Obama era Democrat, and he just believes Donald. The reason he supports Republicans now is that you know uh, the Republican Party represents his 2008 Democratic liberal views, which have not changed, better than the current Democratic Party itself. So, I don't really. There could be possibly some censorship of the dissident left. If there is, it will have to do with criticism of Israel. So that is certainly a possibility. It hasn't happened yet, but I like to say. I mean, one thing I was going to say is that like there are people on the dissident left who have recognized the potential of MAGA as a revolutionary force in American politics. And I think that it's important to note that if you recognize the revolutionary political consciousness of MAGA in 2016, you got to recognize the revolutionary political consciousness of the America First movement led by Nick Fuentes in 2024. So Elon Musk and Twitter are attempting to silence and censor the America First movement because they have accepted the truth of the fact that the America First movement is a revolutionary political movement. So if the elites in charge, like Musk and Twitter, and these guys recognize the revolutionary potential of something like America First, that's why they're censoring you. And so, you guys should take it as a almost a compliment, I would say, even though
Right.
it definitely suck that the censorship is happening.
Well, I'm just saying, it's like if you're not being blocked or whatever, you're doing something wrong. Like you have to have people who want to get you. In this case, it's obvious that X is trying to go after this and then collect this in the right movement on X for a reason, because we're over the mark. We're really making impact, and I think that we're a threat to X and a threat to the I guess a threat to the broader right wing in terms of what they perceive to be on immigration, on whatever. Like we're making impact, and that's why we're kind of being systematically targeted in this matter. I know that Carlin had their hand up here. I'm not sure if she wanted to chime in on that matter. I know she's mentioning something about why she believes that the dissident left might not be as targeted as much as dissident right. So go ahead, Carlin. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for having me up, Chief, and really enjoying the space. What I will say is that I don't think that Elon is going to be targeting the dissident left, because what they're doing right now is, and by the way, it's not as though the dissident left is not saying the same things against Israel and quite frankly, the Jews that a lot of you guys are saying. It's that it just doesn't have the attention of people like Elon Musk, because what they're trying to do right now, the classical liberals on the right that are trying to co-opt the GOP and the Republican Party are trying to push this narrative that it is the dissident right that is causing divisions on part like within the so-called like MAGA movement, and because you are causing the divisions, that is why you need to be silenced and you need to be banned, whereas they don't. For Elon to be able to silence people on the right than silence people on the left, because you guys are the ones that are causing them the problems.
And also in terms of the level of like reach and I guess influence, the dissident right has a lot more sway than the distant left on many areas. Especially in terms of big this whole Musk and Vivek and other people on the right who have been pushing for H-1Bs and other forms of legal immigration. So like it's definitely like in terms of where I see, like, I'm sure at some point it'll be like a couple of leftists that get like hit or something like that, but broadly speaking, the right and the distant right have a lot more of sway, a lot more impact on things, and again, I feel like they'll be targeting them. I agree. I think we'll be targeting them a lot more.
And just one more
Yeah.
to supplement that point, Chief, is that the dissident left, or like the radical revolutionary left, who I spend like all my time researching and tracking when I'm not playing around with you guys, is that they don't organize on Twitter. They don't organize on X. They organize on Instagram. They've basically taken over Blue Sky at this point. They have a whole bunch of Telegram groups for like the Antifa groups and stuff like that. It's not that they don't put stuff on X, but it's just not really the primary platform that they use, and it's certainly not where they're putting their more controversial stuff. And so again, it's like you're absolutely right that the reason that this is happening, I think they are extremely jealous of Nick Fuentes. I'm talking about Elon Musk and all the people kind of surrounding him, like the Babylon Bee folks, the classical liberals that are trying to co-opt the GOP and make everyone else a classical liberal. They're extremely jealous of Nick Fuentes because Nick Fuentes has something that they do not have, which is an audience that is engaged with him, that is spreading his message, that he can take with him anywhere, and that's something that they can't build up on their own. And so the best strategy they have is to silence Nick, silence his supporters. I'll say one last thing. I don't know how true this is, but I'm live streaming this space on my YouTube channel right now, and one of my community members and like a longtime supporter, she was saying in the chat that she actually, and she just had like a really teeny tiny little account. So going to Mio's point, I think earlier, of like, there's probably more people, maybe it was Dalton, there are probably more people getting their account bans than we know. One of my supporters was telling me that she wasn't even really doing anything on X, but she started liking a lot of Nick's posts, and then all of a sudden her account got banned for some reason, and it's kind of unclear why it got banned. And so just to corroborate that there may be a lot of these smaller accounts that are getting dinged that we don't even know about.
Well, I'll say this quickly. Like, I know for a fact that in terms of myself, that I've had dozens of people tell me that they've had problems with unfollowing me and all of that. One of my subscribers said they didn't unsubscribe to me, but they were mainly unsubscribed by something else. Maybe it has something to do with like the recent situation. I think the problem though, it's like there's no transparency from X or anything like that. There's no sort of explanation for things, no emails, and all that does is really make people very suspicious and skeptical of what's happening at X. Like, are they putting labels on my account? Is that why I'm getting unfollowed here or something like that? Is that why? Like, to just today, I saw group chats when I had a space I was hosting about this. I guess this whole like a pre-space, if you will. They didn't see that on my profile. They didn't see my the purple circle around my name or something like that for. And even the space I had previously about the conservative OG, so, like, I had a dozen people telling me that, hey, I couldn't view the space, it was unplayable or whatever. So like it's all these issues. It doesn't help out that actually prioritizing like banning like dissidents and suppressing them and all of that, and not fixing buggy problems and glitches with the platform. So it doesn't help or anything like that. I know that Don has a hand up here. Don, go ahead.
Yeah. Sammy kind of reminded me of something when he was talking, because I know he's like, he was like a dissident leftist guy. Nick, a long time ago, this is how vindicated he is, because I think they will come for the dissident left, and I'll explain why. A while back, well, during AFPAC 2, there was the Louis Theroux doc, and in this documentary, I can't remember the question, the leading question that Nick was asked, but there was a question. And basically, Nick responded by saying that the left, the far left, or the far right have to have the answers because the status quo clearly isn't working. This whole middle of the road idea that Elon loves so much, and he tweeted this, some of you may have seen it. He said, I want both sides of the far left and the far right angry. I would rather, and I know that I'm, maybe some people will disagree with me here, but I would rather have whatever the hell the far left wants than what we have right now, because at least then there's like some form of progress being made in some capacity. Um, and I would hope, I would think, even the far left would say, well, at least something different. There's something changing. Um, and right now, that's clearly not what they want. The status quo is neoliberalism. It is neoconservatism. It is globalism, free trade, et cetera, et cetera. And open borders, multiracial, multicultural populism, and yeah, it's clearly not working. So we need to really highlight that. I think that even the dissident left will, under what I can see right now with Elon Musk being in charge, yeah, of course they're going to be targeted. I would say maybe not as much. I don't know, but yeah, I think it's definitely possible.
Yeah, I mean, like right now they're not really being targeted, but definitely, like I said, if it happens down the line, it will be over the Israel issue. I mean, I think that the Democratic Party knows this, that the big reason a big portion of the left wing youth did not turn out for Kamala in this past election is because she was guilty of a genocide in this presidency. So, you know, this is a big problem for the Democratic Party. Either they have a youth problem. The youth is not going to be supporting pro-Israel politicians much longer, and that's why I appreciate the America First movement so much. Is that a lot of these people, these young guys, they might be jumping ship over to something like the America First movement if the Democratic Party doesn't make the adjustments necessary that they need to secure the young vote. But yeah,
No, I'll say this, in terms of, where the young people are trending and all that, the dissident movements, that is very attractive to most young people. Like young people aren't really into this whole, you know, like conning, get establishment style of politics. That's not attractive to them at all. They like people that are, punk, people that are edgy, people that are, saying things and having, saying with their hearts and not really being like very like sneaky and not really truthful and full and all of that, and kind of peddling the same nonsense and same type of talking points as people before them. Like I think that people want something brand new, authentic, genuine, and that's why people, whether you're left, I guess whether you're like young, left or right, like you want to be a dissident, you want to be someone that's on the outside that mainstream, conventional type of boxing, or boxer, or whatever. But in terms of exit and priorities, I think is brought up very daily in that last comment, with what this whole like globalism, new neocon type of stuff and all of that. Like I do feel like there is this type of like action against the dissident right ecosystem right now. Like this is by nature trying to suppress an ideology and a belief that many young people have. Many young people are seeking information out, seeking truth and all of that. And by Elon trying to tip the scale in this manner, they're not gonna be able to hear from people like Project Groy, people, like the 14 or so, affiliates and all of that. They won't have an opinion to hear about there. And he's trying to basically, in a sense, like suppress people from knowing about this and ideology and becoming dissident. Is that accurate to say? Or I guess, do you think that this type of banning will, I guess, be a bit more about like controlling people's behavior and what they actually politically align with, I guess? You could go to Mio for that.
But sorry, repeat that last
Yeah,
bit again.
yeah, yeah. I was saying, so I mean, in terms of like the broader ecosystem, like if you have a suppression of people on the dissident rights, it's essentially trying to make a lot of young people that are on X not really hear out dissident ideologies and instead be like basically just fed like slop
Yeah,
of like conning
yeah. Well,
stuff.
that's exactly the point. Like to go off of what Tyler said earlier again, because that was a key insight, and combining it with what Carlin said. Once you take out the big accounts, there's no one to speak up for the small accounts and build a pressure campaign on like, hey, this is wrong, this is censorship. Then the more insidious part is what Tyler said. It's not even going to be selective or overt censorship in that same way anymore. It's just the accounts are surrounding Elon and his group of the biggest accounts will all be boosted. The people who do what he likes will be boosted. Those will be the opinions you see. People keep saying, Nick ratioed Elon the other day. Yeah, well, you have to scroll down 3 pages to find it. You have to scroll past 100 follower blue check accounts because Nick doesn't have one. And they, again, like even your social credit score goes down even with a blue check account under other people who are supported by them. And so all of that is scary. And then the other point Tyler made, the boomer response to this, it's exactly what he said. Like Alex Jones, he's tapped out. They nearly killed him. The liberals, they nearly killed him. They took everything from him. Donald Trump, they nearly killed him. They took everything from him. And they, I think, have sort of just given up in a way. At least it's not this woke left takeover. At least we can settle for liberal tears. At least Elon lets me talk about the demonic globalist chai coms or whatever. Uh, and it's like an old horse put out to pasture. So that's there's this apathetic response. People don't want to believe it's that bad because if it's not Trump and it's not Elon, well then who's our guy? Then you have that same incentive that had a lot of people, unfortunately, like I feel bad for them. They believe in QAnon or believed in QAnon because they want there to be some great white hope, some light at the end of the tunnel here. And but we can't just passively accept this. We can't just cope our way through the Trump train like we did with the election. Like everybody had an incentive to do. At least we'll get liberal tears. No, you're gonna get your own tears.
I,
Go
yeah.
ahead, Brittany. Yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
not sure if it was mentioned because I was like getting something, but the two, like what Mio was saying about how we need the big accounts, and then you have I don't know what's going on with Charles Johnson, if he's like faking that or what happened with that and trying to get on board with that,
Yeah.
but also with what Myron's doing. He's got one of those big accounts that's like really really supportive and like really helpful, and like I'm like don't purposely lose that. Don't purposely lose that by spamming all these things that are gonna get banned when we kind of need you more now than ever. So I don't know if, what's going on with those two, but
Because we're approaching a point where there will be no one to speak for people who get banned. When
yeah.
people start getting censored, there won't be anyone to even talk about it. You won't even know it happened anymore.
Well,
Protect your accounts.
eventually, well, I'll say this: like, what's happening is the Twitter 1.0 days, where first you have Alex Jones banned, and then eventually in a couple of years everybody's banned. Like that. That's how these types of behaviors, track. You start calling people, like a couple of the fringe, the crazy, whatever they'll call you, and then after that they'll go after the other people who are slightly to the right, and then after that it's the rest of the people. So it's a pattern. It's pretty common what happens. I'd say also. So I guess I'd ask Dalton. I hadn't really heard from him too much. Like in terms of the other affiliates, what they're talking about, like Pine Sap and book club and all of that, and all of what they're talking about. Like, are they surprised by this type of band wave? Are they, are they, I guess, in any way, like, just, I guess, annoyed by the response they got? And I'm not sure if, book club had, his appeal rejected or not. I just wasn't sure in terms of like the broader, affiliates of Project Groyper, what their reactions generally were to this, banning and the response or lack of response they got, and if they expect this to, I guess, to keep going on and on and on.
Yeah, yeah. So I talked with Pine Sap about it. He was like, dude, I don't even care. He was like, I don't care if you pissed off Adrian Dittman and got everybody banned. It had to be said, and stuff. And I appreciated that, but because I feel bad, if it had anything to do with what I did, like I'm like actually sorry about that. But Bookcat, I was talking sort of like he was live streaming and I was in his chat, and we were kind of talking back and forth that way. And he said, totally expected to be banned after the election. And that goes back to my initial point where this was like par for the course. Nick was warning people about this for months, and everyone or a bunch of people chose to either ignore him or hop on a slanderous bandwagon to oppose him. And I think a lot of people are kicking themselves now for that. But no, I mean, everyone is kind of, I think, in their own way, come to terms. Are we like annoyed? Yeah, for sure. I'm even me, who I'm at the point now where, like I said, I would rather all these guys get their account back than even myself. But yeah, I'm still kind of annoyed at it. I think that the biggest thing here, like the two biggest takeaways that we should really be pressuring Elon is that initial promise of free speech, and then also the transparency. Because from what I've seen, the transparency from every email that we've gotten from every affiliate that I've seen, it has been lacking, and there's really no way for us to be like, hey, no, that didn't happen, because we're not even being provided with a legitimate violation that we can oppose. I mean, other than just saying, well, that's just not true. um for example, like mine, and I could, I'm not even going to post, I'm not even going to worry about it, but it was on another account that I just got banned today. I had posted a thread documenting my appeal, my ban. I documented my past 2 days of posting, and I posted it all. So it was all public. It was all out there. And yeah, there was nothing. I mean, when I tell you guys, I mean, I could send it to Chief. If anyone doesn't believe me, if you don't believe me, I'll send it to Chief. He can post it or something at some point.
Yeah, I'll post it.
The violation was left blank. That is he is a liar when he said that there would be more transparency on this app. It was just left blank. I mean, like, what else can I like do at that point in terms of an appeal? And then I had to deal with Adrian Dittman talking about they're not even going to appeal. They're doing this for clout. Dude, I had 20,000 followers. I am now on an account where I'm not accepting anymore because I don't want to get, mass reported or banned. This idea that people gain clout from being censored or banned, you may get, you'll stir up some energy, you'll stir up some commotion for a month or two, but that's going to end, and your audience is permanently cut into halves, if not quarters. My last account got 6,000 followers in a day, right? Now I think I would be lucky to get 500, because the time from when I was banned to now has been, that takes a hit. And then obviously people just don't find you. And big account that shilled my first account to come out of the woodwork and support, because that's kind of, you're kind of asking for a lot there. But this is why, to go, 40 people listening that that maybe didn't know what the hell was going on, have maybe seen some posting about it, but they didn't know my side of the story, or they didn't know Tyler's side of the story, or none of this has been really talked about at length with them. So you because this issue is not going to be fixed by a docile, a small docile group of uh, of people. This takes energy. This takes pressure. This takes motivation from a large group that believe in something. And fundamentally, what everyone should be agreeing on here is free speech. You don't have to agree with me on Israel or whatever the hell, whatever topic you want to, disagree with me on. It doesn't matter. If you believe that my speech to say stinky Indian, despite how rude, despite how mean, should not be violated for the past year and a half.
Yeah, and in terms of I believe I think I saw that as well with your the reason for your ban in quotations, and it was blank. They didn't give a reason, and that's the problem. Like, I think a lot of it was because that space. And again, I made this point before. Like, you cannot like a comment about a group of people. That's right too. But free speech is offensive a lot of times. You have speech that people say that abortions is fantastic on X all the time. They don't get banned. They don't get. You don't have people are being anti-white on the platform. They'll get banned as well. We're anti-Christian or anti-male or whatever it is, right? That's all across the platform, all around, all day. I see it. But you know, the line that's crossed is that if that's the line that's crossed, that one comment from Dalton, you know, then you know that at that point it's like, who's next? The line keeps shifting, the goalposts keep shifting, and pretty soon the word hate speech and offensive won't mean anything anymore. Like the word like the racist connotation or whatever connotation, you know, or name we get called means these days. Like, it just overused. It doesn't mean anything anymore. And I'd say as well, you know, we do have Randy up here. I'm not sure if Randy wants to give his perspective or take on this entire matter. You know, he was an affiliate with this whole entire, you know, thing.
Yeah.
His perspective about it and what's going
Yeah.
on. Go ahead.
So I'm in the car right now, so I'm gonna try to not talk so much because I know the noise is
Sure.
annoying and everything. But I was also banned without cause. They said I violated a hate speech or something like that, and they just they emailed me back. We have found that your banning was permitted, and you know you did break terms of service, and they didn't give me a violation. They didn't show me where I broke any rules. I don't know if you guys remember, I was banned in the middle of my one of the biggest spaces I ever hosted on that last account. Uh, I think, well, it wasn't the biggest, but it was one of the biggest. I was banned in the middle of talking, right, with no reason at all. That space wasn't even controversial. I've said crazy controversial things, you know. I do enjoy like Dalton's shock comedy, shock humor. We are not in the public square. Elon Musk will become. We are not in the public square. Elon Musk will become the right wing. We won't even be the right wing anymore. We will effectively become like, we might as well get deported from America, because what we'll have to sit on this route, it's going to be very bad for the country, because to be frank, I think we all agree that our ideas are the ones that can help save this country. So if we're censored, even align with the GOP. But he keeps saying things like that as if we are these crazy Nazis, like we're all a bunch of like want who have contributed to this nation and actually, you know, earned or have some right to this land we call America. I don't think it's fair for him to come here and tell. I don't think that's okay. And like Dalton was saying earlier, you know, he was saying, you know, maybe my comment country so that we are stuck with these working class jobs and we can't escape the middle and lower class. And he came okay with that type of free speech. That's not what free speech is.
You know, and he brought up a lot of points.
Disgusting.
It's especially
That he gets to
to control for you, at least when you mentioned that, they said, you got, violation or whatever, and they didn't cite any specific post, and you said, what post did I make that violates TOS? And they just said, oh, well, you just violate stuff, that's all. No explanation, no justification, no transparency or anything like that. I mean, is that like, that itself is ridiculous. They should give you more information, more transparency, and actually tell you what's going on. But it's obviously just a bunch of nonsense, not real.
Another thing is, too, Chief, earlier Dalton, again, I'll talk about Dalton saying something. He talked about how many smaller accounts and smaller journalists, or whatever you want to call them, were removed or banned, and that we have no idea about. Well, I'll just be honest. I'm one of those smaller accounts, and it was nice enough that people, including Nick, would be able to post about me and say, hey, why'd you ban these people? And I'm very grateful for that. So I kind of have my followers back. But there's a lot of people out there who don't even get to voice their opinions about their own country. And I feel like, we like to talk about how we deserve freedom of speech and we're entitled to these things, but I don't really think we talk about why enough. I am an American. My rights, my God-given rights were fought for and secured in this country. That was the promise that our founding fathers wanted for me. That's what they promised me and you and every other natural-born American here. They said, you are allowed to voice your opinion because tyranny is evil, and you as an American have rights given to you by...
Is he cutting out for you guys?
Sort of. But
my
keep
God,
going, Randy.
To say. That's pretty... That's pretty normal. But well, I'll just land my plane if I'm cutting out. I just think it's crazy that this foreigner gets to come here and censor, Americans with a 200 account following, 200 follower account, who's just saying, hey, I don't want this much immigration. That's like if the police came to your door and duct taped your pastor's mouth closed because he was talking about something controversial to 200 people. That's effectively the type of censorship we're having. And now that and everyone understands that the internet is where our ideas are voiced, no one's talking in public anymore. This is the mainstream. This is where you can voice things and really settle what you want. The Trump team is running polls every day on Twitter to see what the people want for this country. And on that same website,
He is kind of cutting out.
Yeah. Can I say one thing? It's it'll be really quick.
Yeah.
He said something at the very beginning of that where he didn't get a reason why he was banned. Like for both me and Mio, this never happened for any of the banned accounts we've gotten. We never even got an email, like let alone a reason. Like we got nothing. Like the only thing I got was about my the paying thing, that being cut off. But since then, it's like no reason whatsoever. No appeals even responded to. And then we're just any account we make is ban evading. Yet we don't even know why we got banned in the first place. And I don't say slurs. I'm not edgy. I don't do like anything bad on the timeline. I fight with people, but I color inside the lines. And we just got mass reported by some Indians. And now we're stuck. Now we're stuck in hiding all the time. Like it's so.
I saw the card had their hand up. I would say in terms of what Randy was talking about, like he is correct about freedom of speech, and our whole country is supposed to be about talking and dialogue and debate and whatever. And X is marketed to be free speech. And to be quite clear about this for the audience again, if you haven't seen it, I posted the threads up in the Jumbotron for you guys to look through, where it details everything that was alleged about Project Groyper and the reason why they said it was banned for. And of course, that's whole thing falls pretty flat pretty quickly. I recommend my audience read through the thread if you haven't already, and give it a share if you can, or look through it, of course, whatever you want to do. It goes into pretty good detail as to the fake claims from X about the Project Grip account and the affiliates as well. It's important to kind of see that and make sure you look at it as well. I don't care if someone was reposted that recently. I know that Nick was actually commented on Candace Owens' post, amplifying my thread, saying thank you for bringing attention to this, guys, or I think you bring attention to this to Candace Owens. So again, it's important you guys all read the thread, give it a good read, look through all the receipts and all that. It shows pretty clearly that there's nothing that happened that violated TOS or anything like that, nothing clear or anything like that, and X is reaching in pretty much the entire explanation or whatever. I would go to Carwin though. So in terms of chime in, but in terms of what you're hearing with Elon Musk and how he's kind of pushing levers down on who can say things, who can't say things. I guess for you also, like, how far is this going to go? And what are your thoughts about Elon just doing this to Americans who have opinions and should be able to say these things but can't? What are your thoughts about the whole thing?
Yeah, I mean, I thought a lot of what Randy said was really right on. It's kind of like, how dare he? But I mean, no, seriously, like, how dare he though? Like, like, and I understand this. Like, I left the left and I came over to like the so-called like MAGA movement in 2020. So I understand transitioning from the left to the so-called right. But Elon is still very like early on in his transition, and there's so much that he doesn't know. And I quite frankly think that we need to assume that he is always going to act in his best interest, and that he is a liberal until confirmed otherwise. And I think that one of the things that's really important is I've had people in my community asking me as I've been talking about this issue over the past week, like, should we leave Twitter? Should we just leave Twitter? Should we just take our toys and go home? And my answer is like, absolutely not. Absolutely not, for like several reasons. Like, Twitter is the town square, for better or for worse. It is where people are, it is where the conversation is happening, it is where the agenda is happening. And so, is it a little bit harder? Yeah, of course it's a little bit harder, and it sucks because we had like a good year plus where we didn't really have to worry about any of this stuff, and we could actually just say what we wanted to say. And now censorship is back. But I do think, a couple of things. I think that people just need to be smart about what they're saying. Like, take example from Nick. Nick is saying, he's going to clean up his act a little bit. He's not going to say the N word as much. Nick is extremely strategic about what he posts and the phrasing that he uses. And I think that's going to be very important for everyone. And you don't have to, and I know, like, I like being edgy, a lot of you guys like being edgy, but we don't need to be edge lords in order to make the point we want to make. And public sentiment is on our side, to be quite frank. I mean, Nick had a massive ratio on Elon Musk yesterday. Like, it was unbelievable. And he ratioed him so quickly, and then it just kept going up and up and up and up and up. And so people are on our side, and I think they do see what's going on. And if there's one thing I think people are sensitive to, it is the idea of censorship. And even if we don't have as many people speaking up now as maybe should be, and I'm looking at you, Alex Jones. I don't know why Alex Jones isn't talking about this, because Alex Jones should understand this better than anyone. But like, even if they aren't speaking up yet, maybe if we keep hammering on it and talking about it and just do not give up, then they're going to have to relent on that. And I think that that's got to be like, that's, I mean, my key takeaway anyway, is that we cannot give up on this issue. We have to keep talking about it. Censorship of political dissidents is going to be one of the most important things. And we cannot allow classical liberals to co-opt the GOP and co-opt Trump and co-opt the Republican Party. It just, like, that would be an absolute and total disaster. And we may as well turn the keys over to the left if that happens. I know Dalton said earlier he wouldn't mind if the left wins. I would mind if the left wins. I don't want the left to win. And it's like, you guys and Nick are the only people that are basically standing in the way of that happening right now. And so we need to just keep hammering this until Elon bends the knee to our will and relents, because he is losing, and that's why he's lashing out.
And real quick before we can probably go with Dalton after this too, but in terms of you brought up a point about Alex Jones, and he made a comment about this, saying that, oh, it must have been botted accounts, must have been some botted accounts. And actually, I'll find the receipt if I can. If you guys have that tweet, please put in the jumbotron if you can. But Alex Jones basically making allegations saying that it must be some sort of bot account or something, and whatever that got banned. The sad part is, though, like, his own employee, Owen Schroyer, was check mark removed a day or so ago, or 2 days ago, or whatever it was. So, like, he's actually ignoring the problems of his own employees with check marks, not to mention the larger problem with censorship and what's going on here, and the dismissal of just saying, oh, must have been bots, must have been something, without knowing the actual proof or seeing the emails or receipts or anything like that, just making assumptions. Like, it just shows, like, he really, like, should have. He knows more than anybody about censorship and all of that. He knows about what happens with that type of problem and with Twitter 1.0. The fact is that he took Elon's side and X's side over, the ability of, innocent to proven guilty. The defending the user, defending the accounts on X that got banned or whatever. He chose to take a very proactive step in defending the unjustifiable, the banning of accounts for no reasons, the censorship campaign, all of that. And I think that's very shocking for me to see, Alex Jones do that. And not only for him to ignore, Oshura, but like the other accounts that get banned, as well as, Dominic and myself, and Raw Alerts, and many other people as well. So I thought that was pretty fascinating how Alex Jones ran cover for Elon and X for censoring other types of people. I'm not sure if Don wanted to chime in, or Carl, you can go and chime in on that if you wanted to as well.
Yeah, I was particularly disappointed. I don't even. We're so far beyond, I think, arguing with these people
Yeah.
in particular. Like I want to hold the feet to the fire of those that I believe have influence and control over what's happening to us, like Elon, or David Sachs or any of these other guys that Nick had mentioned the other day. But I will say I was disappointed, and I saw Harrison Smith tweeted something out that I didn't quite like. I don't remember it verbatim. It was a paragraph, and I simply commented. I say, hey man, like, I was banned, and you're like glazing Elon for some reason. You're like, I don't understand. And, Harrison is someone, I've gone out to eat with him and we've spoken, and he went on my show, and so it's not like I'm like an unknown person to him. You know what I mean? And a lot of these Groypers knew him and have spoken with him and have engaged and also boosted his account and all kinds of stuff. So I am disappointed, but I'm not marking them as like a personal enemy. I feel like they're just lost in the sauce, whether it's because they don't want their accounts taken away or they don't want their badges taken away. Personal gain is always in the back of people's minds, and oftentimes it takes priority over honesty or whatever, but or fighting the fight. But yeah, I mean, in Alex Jones's case, I don't know what his situation is. I don't know what his deal is, but in my opinion, he should just retire because I don't want to not like him, because I do like him, and he was a hero to me for so long. But seeing him sort of bend the knee to Elon Musk is very disappointing, knowing particularly where he comes from. The counter the establishment, counter the billionaires, fight for what's right guy is now siding with the billionaires. I mean, it's really, we're living in a weird
Yeah.
time right now, and it's sad.
And by the way, the receipt here goes right here, where Alex Jones said, Elon asked X to to post beautiful, inspiring, and uplifting things. He cannot overemphasize how important that simple request is. And he added a couple more comments on that. Dominic said, X literally banned a long list of prominent users today. You couldn't possibly have worse timing. You're causing reputational damage by continuing to post like this in the midst of a coordinated and well-documented censorship effort. Alex Jones said, please show me the links. Do you mean X took blue count check marks away from bot sponsored accounts? I didn't hear about that. Show me. So, he right before even just thinking about censorship, he just jumps right to botted accounts and dismisses it just like that. And you're right in terms of like I like Alex Jones. Like I literally grew up. I remember in 2016 when Trump won and he had the stream with Roger Stone, celebrating and clinking glasses and smiling and all of that and having a good time. We're watching like TYT melt down and cry, and that was a big thing back then. But we went from that to like this. It's like he's now saying that post positive content, and then nothing's bad's happening here when people are being censored and all of that. To me, it just seems again very out of touch, and I was just disappointed hearing that.
Yeah, yeah. Post positive content. Wow.
You
Groypers
can't.
get mass
You're
banned, and
banned.
monetization and badges get taken away, check marks get taken away. What an
Yeah.
incredible! I mean, it's so depressing to see that one in particular fall flat. But
Yeah.
listen, man, we are in this, and I'm not going to sit here and beg people to be on my side because um, anyone with a brain, anyone that's true to their morals, anyone that cares about what they are talking about, which is censorship, which is the corporate oligarchy, which is um, the destruction of the social fabric and social capital of our country. If you care about any of those things, you would be standing alongside those that are currently being banned. You would be advocating on their behalf to be unbanned and to be re-platformed on your quote unquote free speech website. It's that simple. So I'm not going to sit here and while I'm disappointed by it, I'm not going to sit and beg uh, uh, Alex Jones. You know who's a real one? I got to give a shout out, man, to Sam Hyde for
Yeah.
standing on business when it actually mattered. And I know for a fact, we probably don't agree on every little thing. And I'm a fan. I'm a huge fan of Sam. I have been for a long time. I just went to go see a stand up, greatest stand up ever. I implore everyone, if he comes to your city, you got to go see Sam Hyde live. But he went out of his way to actually not even advocate for the unbanning of all of these accounts that were banned, but he named Groypers. He said he said free the Groypers essentially, and it got millions of views and so much engagement. It was huge. It's a massive thing. And Elon Musk has been radio silent. He's choosing to ignore it. But this is a guy that clearly is in it for the right reasons. And I just wanted, if you haven't seen it, you can go to, it's at Wigger, Wigger. He put out a fantastic video saying it was just called Dear Elon Musk. And it's great. I implore everyone to go share it and like it. It gets down to the issues and really tackles this whole free speech debacle. But yeah, so that's my take. I'm not going to argue or fight with some of these guys that, stand on our behalf. Clearly, I believe the general public is going to be on our side.
Yeah, I agree. And in terms of trying to put on our side, like the whole point of the space was to establish a timeline to really show that the ban were just incorrect. Nothing really of substance as to why it was banned for or anything like it. Again, the whole problem that they said was inauthentic accounts, which does not fit the bill of this matter at all. Vague statements, vague responses, no responses for X at all. Not just for like for them, but for like the broader dissident right ecosystem. And pretty soon it's gonna be other people. First it's us, then it'll be you at some point in the future. And people that are playing defense now and running cover for running cover for X and Elon and all that. It for me it's just like crazy because this is like the time to stand up for it because once the snowball gets bigger and bigger and bigger and you can't stop like the censorship campaign and all of that, it'll become the exact same thing as for 1.0, the exact same thing. So that's why it's so paramount for all of us to use our voices when we have them to speak up because people right now are banned and they can't speak or anything like that about being censored or banned again. So
Hey, under Jack Dorsey, I was at least given a reason. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
and to give Jack Dorsey credit, his company was taken over. He was pressured by the FBI. He was pressured by outside forces. I don't think he took a very hands-on approach. And quite honestly, while I don't agree with this and I don't think it was right, and I don't think that he was a fantastic CEO of Twitter, at least you knew where you stood with the guy
Yeah.
and you knew you weren't getting on the platform. And I remember when he went on with Joe Rogan with his Indian, I don't even know who she was. She was some Twitter executive.
Yeah, the city person or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Ricky Master's on. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember
and
that.
they were talking about the censorship. I do believe when Jack Dorsey said he didn't know how the hell what people were doing to get banned or, how the banning process really worked, I believe him. I don't think he had a very hands-on approach with Twitter, and I don't think that's a good way to operate. But Elon Musk is going out of his way to personally, politically attack people. Jack Dorsey wasn't doing that. He was, it was all these DEI hires and liberals that were really running Twitter at the time. So these are just two sides of the same coin. The difference is, do you want to be lied to and told that this is a free speech platform and be gaslit into believing that it is, and then building up an audience, having that audience stripped from you when you're no longer useful? Or would you like to know where you stand? And Twitter is just a place for liberals and feminists and SJWs and all that other stuff. For me,
Yeah,
I think
and
I'll take the latter.
yeah, and to be clear about this again, with I believe that one, if not several affiliates of Project Groype existed before, in Twitter 1.0 days, but got the ban hammer on under Elon Musk. And again, for the audience to be very clear about this, I have a thread that has all the receipts, documentation, all the emails that show point by point why it's not the speculation, why it's not a botnet, why it's not the hate speech thing or whatever. It goes through and explains that inauthentic accounts was the reason behind the Project Grape banning, why that's incorrect for. Additionally, goes through how the affiliates being blanket banned was incorrect as well. Some of the accounts that were banned include Pines Up, a Christian account that posts
Ashley
theology
St. Clair
and,
has entered the
scripture and
space.
all of
Let's see
that.
if she
Doesn't engage
speaks.
in any sort of hateful or harassing type of behavior. He got banned, and he existed, I believe, during Twitter 1.0. Book Club got banned. People have to understand that X is wrong in this matter, and it's only get worse and worse and worse unless we all use our voice to speak about this. And I understand that people, you know, may get pushback or whatever, but true. It's true that what's happening here is the first of many. First, it's just you or me, and then after that, it will be the rest of the audience. And to quite clear about this whole thing, as of right now, dozens of accounts, almost 100 accounts, just this week, in past 4 or so days or 5 days, have been impacted, whether it be a checkmark removal, whether it be a banning, a demonetization, subscription removal, whatever. Over pretty much 100 accounts have been impacted by these recent actions. So it's not starting off like one person; it's 100 starting off with, and then after that, it'll be the rest of people. The rest of the people will be impacted by this whole thing. And you mentioned a point about Sam Hyde. He is somebody that had a very informative video, about 46 minutes or so long, about the H-1B, the censorships on X, demonetization, and bannings and all of that. I'm very thankful for him speaking up on this matter and making that great video. It had hundreds of thousands of likes. My impression or my understanding of it has like so many views. It's very widely received, I guess, well at least. So he did a great job with that video. In terms of people speaking up about this matter, I guess which accounts have you seen speak up they're really happy about, or I guess vocal about, aside from Sam Hyde? I guess for Dalton.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, dude, I've gone over the list, but in particular, you got to be one, of course, and Nick obviously talking about it, and Randy said it. He's a smaller account, but he was an affiliate, and him
Yeah.
being thrown out into the conversation is really cool to see. Myron, obviously,
Yeah.
when I respawned or whatever, he was brought me up on the big spaces and promoted me again, and he's a big reason why I had an audience, built up to begin with. Anyway, he helped me out there. So, I mean, the list goes on, man. There are tons of people that surprised me by showing support and calling this issue out. Some of them are in here right now. I couldn't possibly name everybody, but I think that we all really do appreciate it, because whether or not we disagree, this is something that will like, what have we not learned anything from history? Like, did we not just live through 2015, 2016, when we were all being banned and persecuted and called racist and silenced? I mean everyone on the right, I mean, if you were somewhat right of center, you were going through this exact situation, and we're doing it again. So yeah, I mean, even I see even Ashley Sinclair's in here. Even her, she was
Yeah.
she
She's
was
been
a big
great.
surprise. Pretty,
She's been
pretty
great though.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool. So, and listen, like I said, there's tons of them. It would take me all night, but I think that all of us, all 15, I don't even remember how many it was, but all 15 of us do greatly appreciate it, and we just can't forget right now. The pressure is on. Elon just got ratioed. He was just community noted by after he commented about Nick or
Yeah.
something.
Myself, Dylan.
Now
Yeah.
that community note, I guess, was taken down, Chief, right? Or
It was taken down, but I think it's back now.
okay,
I think. I
isn't
don't
that
know.
interesting?
It depends.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm pleased with the outpouring of support, and I just ask that um, you don't slow down on it just yet. I understand that eventually, like, Elon may just never respond, and this is just the plan, and this is where things are going to go. But I'm gonna hold out hope for a little while longer, and maybe he changes his mind and something happens, or at least we can wake people up to what's going on this platform before it's too late.
Yeah, I noticed. By the way, I noticed that these spaces are unfortunately being botted right now. Somebody is botting the space and trying to report the space, to my understanding, unfortunately.
Of course they are. Of course they are. And guess what? Everyone in here is going to get banned for inauthentic accounts. This is another thing they do. They will bot you. I mean, you can't even get away from this. And it's just sick.
Chief, do you have that list of the people that have been doing that? Probably should block them.
I don't even know. Like I blocked some people. There's always new people out there though. So
yeah.
yeah.
Yes, Brittany
So,
said
so
he
like,
com-
so like some foreign country, like some Israeli can like hire a bot farm in China to like juice your posts in an effort to get you banned from Twitter. That is so fucked up.
It's been and it happened to some. I
that
think
is
that they can
what they've
actually
been
ban
doing.
them.
Yeah.
There's
It's annoying.
Israelis, and then they are Israelis. They openly
Well,
say that they are the ones doing it. That they are Israelis. And
hold on. All I'm annoyed about is like I'm gonna get like the space might get taken. Well, first might get reported from the space because of that botting or whatever. It's so dumb. For the record, I don't bot or whatever. I don't even know how to bot or whatever. So this is obviously some other stupid thing like that. I do want to go quickly to I know Dave Riley was up here for a little bit of time. I know he had his hand up here. I'm actually want to chime in the conversation in general, whether it be about Elon Musk, about the Project Groyper accounts, the ban wave, censorship. What are your thoughts about the entire matter? And feel free to chime in. Go ahead.
No, thank you very much for having me up. And Dalton, keep fighting, man. Holy shit, this is just, I can't believe it's been like a week and it's still happening. Like every day, there's another wave of, accounts that are getting banned. I think Golden Groyper and Sox Groyper got banned again today. So, it's, it's just one of those things where the Groypers are the canary in the coal mine. If the Groypers are allowed to have freedom of speech, then America's okay. If the Groypers, however, are not allowed to have freedom of speech, we're toast because they have been for basically the past 6 years the litmus test of whether or not we are abiding by the First Amendment. So it is important that everybody gets together. I am very disappointed in people like Alex Jones. I don't really know. I mean, I can imagine why. I'm friends with his staff. I don't want to pick a fight, but um, you know, now more than ever, we need to be vigilant about this because you can see what's going on with these terrorist attacks. You can see that there's a movement for digital identity, biometric screening on everything. And they do not want people who are putting the pieces together to be able to have that freedom of reach, which is really just freedom of speech in general, right? Because like the point has been made before. I think Dalton said it. Like, if you just go into your bathroom and start shouting obscenities, that's not really freedom of speech. So, no, I mean, I don't have any solutions. It's a fight. We've got to keep fighting and keep looking out for one another. I'm sorry I don't have more to contribute. I'm in the middle of doing show prep for our podcast tonight.
With Vince, right?
The backlash with Vincent
Yeah,
James.
great
We've got
podcast.
a
Love it.
special guest tonight. Steve Franson is going to be in studio with us. So he's the first of our in studio guests. We should be having a lot more throughout the rest of the year. I don't know if we can
Right.
get Chief in studio, but
yeah, I have to wear like a mask the entire time or something. Yeah.
But I think maybe we can fly Carlin up. I know she's been to Idaho before, so
right. I'll say this. You mentioned Alex Jones a little bit there and all that. Like I do feel like I feel like there are people who have been defending this or have been a little bit disappointed in all of that. I do hope that Alex Jones can make a comment about this and I don't know, talk about it, make a post about it, say, hey, why are these people being banned for? The problem also I had particularly is that one of his employees, Owen Schroyer, was hit with the checkmark removal, and he didn't make any comment or any post about that. And like if I had people I was employed with or I was hiring people or whatever, and one of my affiliates or one of my employees got wrongly attacked, I'll go back to them publicly. I would go and make sure that they knew that I had their back 100%. So that's the point I want to make just too, because not just even for him being a individual account and whatever being hit, but he's also an employee of Infowars, and I do feel like there should have been some sort of response or something from Alex Jones about that, particularly speaking. I'm disappointed that didn't really happen. I hope that Alex Jones does speak up about this and that he can use his voice to try to clear the air about not just Owen Schroyer or what happened with myself and Conservative OG, but also for Project Groyper and the rest of you guys that have been demonetized or banned or censored or anything like that. So, I hope that he does make some effort to resolve this. Be quite clear about that. I know Sammy had their hand up here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I mean, a lot of good points were just made. I mean, I was just gonna add in there that on the topic of Elon Musk, it really has been a big mask off moment for him, especially when he responded to that one post calling people who disagreed with him on H1B's retards, and he was like, "Yup," and then he doubled down on it. He put out another replied to another post agreeing to that one, which didn't just say people who disagreed with him are retards, but Americans in general are retards, and that's why we need H1Bs because they're Americans in general are too retarded to be trained to be better workers than you know foreigners. And just to reiterate what Randy was saying earlier, it's just unacceptable that this guy who is a foreigner can come to our country and police the speech of Native Americans. So I think in terms of I don't have much more to add to the conversation. Thank you so much for having me. But I think in terms of solutions that can be done, to combat against this problem, leverage your network. Dalton, you got an important voice, and there's a lot of people you've met and built over the years. I think Spaces is probably going to be the only way that you can get any real reach anymore, because with posting, you're just going to be severely limited on a private account, and also just if you post too much and get too many followers, you're just going to be suspended again. So Spaces is a way to work around that. Maybe talk to Sulaiman. I know you're friends with him. He could maybe do another space on this, but Space is going to be a good way. I've heard talks of building an own platform or migrating to like platforms like Tumblr. But yeah, all around, just wanted to say thank you guys.
Yeah, I'm about to listen. I'm going to Tumblr, dude. I'm gonna go to Tumblr, man. Hey, listen, Tumblr, they banned porn, and I
Wow.
could probably make an account over there. So it's already looking better than X. You know what I
That's
mean?
crazy. That's hilarious.
Hey. So real quick, I just did a little experiment because yesterday, I asked Grok if the 15 Groyper accounts actually broke any of Twitter's terms of service, if there was any like hard evidence. And yesterday it said no. But I just asked it the same thing again, and now it's saying yes, the 15 banned accounts did break their terms of service. And then I asked it to say what terms they actually broke, and it said hate speech, child sexual exploitation, and spam and platform manipulation. So that has literally changed since I asked it yesterday, and that's a
Oh, that's
little
Yeah,
alarming.
it's weird.
crazy.
Well, I'll say also with Grok and whatnot, it's funny because with Grok is a premium feature and all that, and I believe that now it can't, at least for people who are I guess were check mark removed, they weren't able to use it. I know for me, I wasn't able to use that when I got check mark removed. So I think that that's crazy how they just changed it just like that. The answer is
Hey,
just nonsense.
Chief, listen, man, I really, really do appreciate you doing this space tonight. I do have to get out of here, and thank you to everyone that had something
Yeah.
to
Yeah, me
say.
too.
And
Yeah, I
um,
appreciate everybody for hopping in here. And
yeah,
I actually wasn't wrapped up pretty soon as well. It's been about 2.5 hours. And I think that the points that we're trying to make have been pretty clear. It's first,
well,
yeah,
I also want to say as well to like the audience that's here, that your voice matters just as much as anyone that was up here speaking, insofar as you can literally shift the conversation through tuning into things like this, or through retweeting people that are talking about it, engaging with those posts, because we're not bots and we're not retards and we're not i- we aren't nobodies. Every one of us is somebody, and we have an opinion. And if this is a free speech platform, we can talk. We should be able to speak. So, guys, I'm asking you as someone who I can't really use this platform anymore. I mean, I'll just be here, reading or whatever, maybe doing the occasional space, but use it while you have it. And push the right now in particular, push this free speech message, and talk about why you don't trust Elon at this point. I mean, I think it's pretty clear, but this needs to be expressed, and advocate for those that have been banned to get their accounts back. Um, Yeah, but thank you. Thank you to everyone that tuned in, and thank you to everyone who talked tonight, and thank you to Chief for putting this whole thing on. I know that myself, and I've been getting messages all night long from the other, from the other affiliates, thanking you and everything. So really do appreciate you guys.
Thank you again for hopping up here, and of course for Tyler as well for hopping up here. It's definitely great, and of course Randy as well, and the other affiliates that were responsive to me and helping, I guess, with receipts and all of that. It's very important that the people online and people on the space and people who read the thread understand this issue of the banning of Project Groyp. It's not legitimate. There are no points that would validate the banning of Project Roy. The inauthentic accounts point they brought up or that was alleged is nonsense. And I really do hope that everybody here, regardless of how you feel about Project Roy and anyone that was, whatever, talking or part of that group or whatever, I hope that all of you guys at least see the thread, look through receipts, and understand that this is a legitimate concern for freedom of speech. And look, they may go after Project Grip first, and myself, and Conservative OG, and Fresh and Fit, and that whole podcast, and the crew over there. But at some point, it's going to happen, and it's going to change to you guys in the future. I probably want to close the space out. On that note, I recommend everybody here before the space closes. I recommend all of you guys go over to the thread up top in the jumbotron. Go and click that thread, read through the entire thing, bookmark it as well. It's good to have receipts and information if you ever hear people say something that's incorrect or fake news. Document, all the stuff you'd want to document on the thread. It's all there. It's there for you guys to look at and to review. So review it, look it through the whole thread, share it if you can. Definitely go and bookmark, as I said before. And I'll be making an additional thread about Conservative OG probably next week about the banning from that as well. I'm definitely making more space about that at some point, I think, next week too. So I want to thank everybody here for listening in. Be sure to follow all the speakers as well, especially those who were wrongly banned while they have their accounts still, I guess. Follow them if you haven't already. Be sure to follow all the speakers up here who chimed in and all of that. Again, very big thank you to everybody at Project Groyp who helped me with getting receipts and all of that when I was requiring or requesting those things as well. Very helpful for putting the thread together and all of that. So I hope you guys enjoy the space. I'm gonna wrap the space up on that note, guys. I'll continue to stream temporarily over on my Rumble channel, rumble.com/user/Trumpster to continue to stream and give my thoughts about the whole space before I close that down as well. And I'll do a stream later tonight or whatever. But again, for the audience here specifically, follow the speakers, follow all the people who are part of Project Groyp if they can on their alt accounts or respawn accounts. Be sure to follow Dalton on his show on on Cozy, and follow him on his Telegram and all of that too in case he gets banned again, as well as Tyler Russell on his Cozy and Kick and all of that. And make sure to follow everybody here, like Brittany and Mio, their Cozy channels and their social media stuff, as well as Carlin, and be sure to go follow David Smith and his show. Sorry, Dave Riley and his show with Vince James on Rumble as well. It's a great show. It's fantastic. So I recommend you guys follow them as well. I'm going to go on that note, guys. Again, very big thank you to everybody here for contributing, for speaking up, and for being people who are willing to speak the truth and risk their accounts. Because I feel like at some point they'll come after all of us again at some eventually. So again, guys, thanks for watching. I'm going to end the space now, guys. This is a recorded space, so we'll be able to replay if you want to.
All right, we're done. We're done. I didn't want to blow anyone's ears out, so I shut down the browser first. Well, I mean, I certainly have some thoughts about that. It's like first of all, Chief Trumpster did such a great job, and there was a time in my life when I didn't necessarily get Chief Trumpster, I have to say, but I've come to have a lot of respect for him because that guy hustles like no one else, and he's also just happens to be just like a really nice guy, and he's very handsome in real life. I got to meet him at AFPAC. Very, very handsome. Doesn't look like you think he looks at all. Groyper's kind of a reputation. They're one of the smears that Groyper's undergo is that they're all like short and brown and fat, and Chief Trumpster is not short, and he is not brown, and he is not fat. I'll just tell you that. And so I thought he did a great job on the space, and it's just like it's depressing to a certain extent because it's like, you know what? Like, I fucking love Dalton. Dalton is such an entertainer. He's so funny. And his content is so good. And some people might find it offensive. So what? Some people might find it offensive that he said Indians smell bad to Adrian Dittman. It's kind of like, so what? He it's just like, I am like, Twitter sucks a little bit more because Dalton's not going to be able to be on it. I want this issue resolved purely so that I can log on to a Twitter space at 2 a.m. and listen to Dalton pontificate about something because he is awesome. He's just fucking awesome. And the same is true of a lot of the Groypers. I mean, Randy, like, I got to meet Randy in Texas when I went on that road trip with Siggy. Randy is, he's also handsome, maybe not quite as handsome as Chief Trumpster. He's also very white. He's also tall. And he's just, like, really smart, and he's really funny. And it's just, like, he's a young guy, and it's, like, the young guys in Nick's movement are using these spaces and using the community that they have to kind of find themselves and to figure out what they believe and to do these thought exercises and to have these conversations. And why shouldn't they be allowed to do that, right? Well, I mean, as was said several times on the space, listening is always fundamental. Dalton has been banned now over and over and over again. And at some point you just kind of get tired of trying. But Dalton specifically said this on the space that Dalton had a different account earlier today. He was doing a Twitter space under a different account. That account got banned, and so now he's on this other account, and that account's probably going to get banned as well. It's just like a burner account, and it's just too bad. It's too bad that it's come to this. It's too bad that Elon Musk, was never serious about being a free speech platform. It just sucks, and it's like, I go back with what I started at the beginning. You don't have to like the Groypers. You don't have to like them. You don't have to agree with them. You can think they're offensive. You can think they're these hateful people, even though they really aren't. But you can think that they are. And that still, you should be able to defend their right to say what they want to say on a platform that is supposed to be about free speech. And, someone said this on the space. Maybe it was Tyler. I forget exactly who said it. But, like, if we're talking about actual hate speech, there is so much worse on Twitter than the Groypers. There is so much worse. Like, there is actual white supremacy on Twitter. There's actual anti-Semitism on Twitter. There are people that hold massive Twitter, like, look, and if you don't believe me, look up 1488 Radio sometime on Twitter. They hold these massive spaces where they are saying the most hateful slurs. They are being overtly racist. They are being overtly anti-Semitic. And it's just like, if you think the Groypers are bad, you have not heard anything until you've heard what is actually real hate speech on Twitter. And they don't do any of that. Elon Musk doesn't bother with any of them. They only bother with Nick Fuentes because Nick Fuentes has a hugely influential platform, and his movement is undeniable, and that's why they care about him, and that's why they care about the Groypers. It's not because they're the worst people in the world, because they just provably aren't. And it's just really, 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 really upsetting. But such as it is, I suppose. Anyway, guys, that's going to wrap up our stream for today. As always, I stream Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube, on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, at least for now, and on Rumble, where we talk about really whatever I feel like talking about on any given day. We do Socialism Saturday on Saturdays at 6 p.m. And if you want to support the work I'm doing, head over to my Substack. That is Carlin, KARLYN.substack.com. You can listen to my latest episode of the Actively Unwoke podcast, which does kind of break down some more of the intro level kind of things that happen around this ban and Elon Musk, like, giving up on free speech and all that stuff. You can find the Actively Unwoke podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever podcasts are, or you can just listen to it over on the Substack. Download the Substack app. You'll get notifications and stuff when I post new content. And if you feel like supporting the work I'm doing, you can do so for $8 a month, $80 a year. I really do appreciate it. You can also head over to the Unwoke Art Store, where we are currently having a sale. There's 25% off the new collection that I have just launched. So any merch with these designs on it, we've got t-shirts, we've got hoodies, we've got sweatshirts, we've got long sleeve shirts, tank tops, shot glasses, pint glasses, mugs, posters, stickers, all sorts of cool stuff with the new Red Menace collection. And this is in honor of the Red Menace Collective, which is an initiative that I've just launched. It's my book publishing initiative that's going to be a big part of what I'm doing this year. So check it out. You can get some cool merch like this McCarthy t-shirt that I made that says, "Are you an anti-communist?" And then on the back, it's got a QR code for people to join the Red Menace Collective. It sends them over to the Red Menace Collective website where they can learn more about how to become defiantly anti-communist. So all sorts of great swag over on the site. This t-shirt comes in a bunch of colors. It comes in gold, it comes in red, it comes in this whitish color. Not true white, but just a little bit off white, because sometimes we don't want to be full white because sometimes that doesn't work out so well. But it comes in a variety of colors. You can pick out whichever one you want. We've also got this is one of my favorite things, this propaganda piece that I created just because I think it looks really cool, and I'm going to be creating a bunch of cool stuff like that. So lots of cool stuff. You can get the McCarthy is Right series. That's on t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, 2 different types of hoodies, a shot glass with that on it. I mean, come on. All that's available in the Unwoke Art Store, and all the designs in the Red Menace Collective collection are 25% off until Sunday evening at 11:59 p.m. And of course, you can shop all sorts of other cool stuff in the store. I have a million different anti-communist designs in the Unwoke Art Store, and all purchases do go to support the work I'm doing, and I really, really do appreciate it. And with that, I will take my leave, and I will see you guys tomorrow at 5 p.m. I hope you all have a good rest of your day. Take care. And we'll see you soon.
How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th. That's difficult to answer. this influences my thinking and consequently my actions.
What is it you're trying to do with your life?
Play the piano for people.
I'm not clear. How is it that playing the piano for people has eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital?
That's difficult to answer.